the global community conversation where we talk about issues and matters affecting us on a daily basis, and we try to find solutions together. It's the program where all of us are experts because it is your experiences that actually make the conversations happen. And that's 20 minutes past 8 o'clock tonight on Tuesday, June oh my God, do I even forget the date today? It's the 6th of June. The program is Come, Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, and we are celebrating you, the Nkuba Kyeyos, the people who have gone out of their ways, regardless of how you came, wherever you came, wherever you are, but you've ended up making a difference in someone's life. Your own lives, first of all, and if once you've managed to do that, then you start looking after other people, especially in situations where you send all these beautiful posts either on Facebook, on your socials, or even into albums or the photos that we send back home, wearing the nice Nikes and Adidas's and Jordans and wearing nice clothes. People look at these and they want to come abroad. Some of you would be telling them, conversation is you are the experience. It is your experiences that will be interesting to listen to, inshallah. I hope you are all keeping well. Barakallahu fikum wa jazakumullahu khairan, and welcome to the conversation. Well, as this program works, in case you are new to this program, everybody, like I said, is an expert, and therefore I'll come to you at random. Best if, for example, you have something burning inside you, you can just raise your hand and come up. And for programs like these, where we actually want to hear from the heart, there are exceptions that we make. These programs run in our local languages, and therefore do not feel impeded in any way to use your Luganda if you're going to explain an interesting part of the story. We've just been joined from the Netherlands by the Muslim community of Netherlands, that is Sheikh Nasakab. Sheikh Nasakab, I think, is just joining now. Someone is trying to connect from Dubai, but they are unable to connect on the link. Sheikh Nasakab, I think, is still joining from the Netherlands. Would be interesting. This man has been in the Netherlands for the best part of nearly 22 years. Would be interesting to hear from those Miaka in terms of being abroad. And so if in case you want to say anything, you can just raise your hand, just click on that Zoom aspect there. So it might be on the chat. You just connect onto that, or reactions. You can raise your hand and we'll pick on you to come and will have a say. Or alternatively, this program just runs marathon. Therefore, I might just end up coming to you straight. So do not be shocked if you hear me calling out your name. Please do not be shy. This program, all of us are one, and therefore there shouldn't be any reason to be worried. Well, Sheikh Nasakab, I think, has just settled in from the Netherlands, if not Sheikh Shagaf, but most likely Sheikh Nasakab has just joined us. Welcome very much from the Netherlands, Sheikh Nasakab.
Amin, jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. What ukijenga gari kisi very, very and happy to have you on board.
You have been just started now, isn't it?
We have just started streaming, but we have been around here now chatting. So, well, just doing the introductions for the people that are already here. Much recognition to everybody who's managed to get it in time. So why don't we just kickstart our process now? We are talking about celebrating you, the Nkuba Kyeyos. A lot of times, we either get celebrated when we are dead. For example, the late Charles, our friend, our colleague who used to present here the Monday program, Chibunomu on 75W radio, died recently, and you had lots of beautiful speakers, people coming and, saying all manner of things, of good things about him, but he was gone. It would have been very good if he could be alive, listen in and hear all of these things that we are saying about him. And well, tonight we're actually celebrating ourselves, and I don't see why we shouldn't. And we should feel proud that we are able to actually celebrate ourselves in the essence that we are in. think about, the manner in which you came in, especially the trailblazers, the first people who went into the countries where they are. Were you the first person to get there? Sheikh Rashid Kayira, I've just seen you coming in. Welcome to the conversation. And Imam, I noticed you're being there quietly as well. Imagine you've just entered into a country. When I arrived in the United Kingdom way back in 2003, oh my God, I didn't know I've been here 20 years. And when I arrived, before I arrived, I had people. Actually, it was like my entire school moved from Uganda to the United Kingdom, because by the time I came here, there were about 20 or 30 students from my school, including a former head teacher. So if I say the entire school had actually migrated here, our Sheikh Abu Bakr Musoke, who used to be here for quite some time, actually came in, he was here for nearly, 15, if not 20 years. So by the time I came in here, I was actually coming to a comfortable environment. I had Sheikh Yusuf, I had Sheikh Buko, I had people that, I had known. And therefore, these are the people that would take you through the loops. They would tell you, kano kakora kati, kano usoka gastofna, umazoktereze sigade, funina driving license, from driving license, then move on to something else. You had people who would show you the loops. But I want to imagine a person like, for example, engineer who is already joined us. Oh my God, his name is now going. Engineer Isa Makumbi, who went into Russia, that is, the Soviet Union then. Once he got there, how was it? Did you find any people, any Ugandans that were showing you the loops, that were helping you to know what to do? These are the stories that I would like to make tonight. And tonight is a celebration. And therefore, celebration means we are actually looking into our own pasts and enjoying what we have been able to pull off. So I arrived in this country. There are lots of things that, come up. But I'll mention one thing that before I go into what we managed to do. Kassim Turunuga, yes, I can. I have seen your message. You are at work. You might be unable to speak. But if you can sneak into what is supposed to be a cigarette break, you might just sneak out and be able just to give us a quick one. But I arrived in the United Kingdom, and I had traveled quite widely, alhamdulillah, before I moved here. Because as a journalist back in Africa, I was traveling with presidents, and like nearly every 2 months, I would really be on a plane to a particular place, go somewhere. But all these are visits where you come in, you are part of the presidential convoy, you just go, you are eating here, you are entering reception here, you are filming, you are doing reporting and sort of sending reports back home. It never really felt that you could just go and sit down. In fact, back in 1999, when Nelson Mandela, the late Nelson Mandela, was leaving power, Thabo Mbeki was coming in as the next president. So I'd flown in with the Rwandan president at the time. I had gone there as the media person. And when we reached South Africa, we go through the whole thing where you are meeting for the first time lots of presidents, about 30, 40. Everyone wanted to be, around Mandela. All of a sudden, the person who was supposed to be a terrorist had turned into this beautiful, image that everyone wanted to relate with. And so we go, we had gone after the ceremonies. The first lady goes to shop, and we go into this shop. I'm moving with the entourage of the first lady. People shopped to the point that some of the guys even were purchasing, motorcycles. When we entered the presidential jet then to return, I was just thinking, Ya Allah, if this plane was to crash somewhere, if we were to crash and land somewhere and somebody would just fall onto what has been shopped. Remember, this was just immediately after the war in Rwanda. Everybody was trying to. But long story short, a couple of years later, 2003, I come to the UK. I get my very good friend, Sheikh Buko, text me in. And then you start the life. You used to having space. All of a sudden, I'm going to share a room. He invites me, he tells me, Kassim, you can't live in the village. Come to the city. I come to join him in a bed seat. It wasn't one bedroom flat. It was a bed seat. And you can imagine, whoever knows Sheikh Buko, he's not a small person. Us lying on, a bed seat, it was like a mwanandani. The two of us having to share that little bed, basically his legs there, my head the other side. In times like these, it would have meant totally something different. And alhamdulillah, it wasn't. But still, the message was put. The way we had a neighbor who used to be a Jamaican lady who used to be very, very unhappy with us. She would just look at us, two fat men, and imagining that we were, for example, Ashabul Liwat, Mubategir, and that was the thinking. She would just look at two big men, and the imagination was that but this was the first entrance now into what was going to be a totally different world. What happens? I go to visit a friend with whom we went to school. Person, prepares food, very nice Swahili food. I enjoy the meal. I love my food. In the meantime, they bring in a can of ginger beer and they placed it there, just opened the can, poured into a glass. I drank something for the first time, which tasted really, really beautiful. And I'm thinking in my mouth, I continue with my food until I finish the food. Once the food was finished, I look at this drink so that now I may probably customize it and make it a drink that I normally take. The host was out in the kitchen, of course, taking away some of the stuff. And I looked at the tin, and the tin had ginger beer. A meme way feeder. My heart dropped. Because the first imagination was, yeah, Allah, I thought I had drunk alcohol. Remember, if you have anything that is burning inside you, you can just put it into the chat room and we'll make it part of the conversation. And I will be coming to you individually. I panic. Appetite your name food, the marriage, in a way that probably I would have forced it back. And in my heart, I was just thinking, oh my God, subhanallah, what have I done? I left the friend's house. I was really, really in bad shape. I've got a cousin who lived at that time in Harrow and Wilston. The following week, I end up going to visit. They bring food. Again, they serve me. And the ginger beer was again on the table. And I said, Subhan al-Malik al-Quddus. But this was my sister, my cousin, and therefore I think I could ask. The other one I struggled even to ask. My heart was so down. I couldn't even, mention it to them. So I asked my sister, I said, my sister, do you get to Europe and you actually start drinking alcohol? She laughed like wanting to die. So starts taking me through the tin and how the can was written on non-alcoholic. But in my heart, even then, I was still thinking, why couldn't they name it something different? I would like to hear your own stories. Anyway, long story short, the time that I've been here, alhamdulillah, been able to help, many, many people that I think probably it's them that would be in a better position to say, but it's mainly the family, being able to say that within the family, if anything happens, you are there. You're sort of a fallback that they can run to and be able to, have a conversation, have the support that you can push in. Well, the program is come. Let's talk with me, Kassim Kayira, with 33 minutes past 8 o'clock in the United Kingdom, 33 minutes past 3 o'clock in the East Coast of the United States of America. It is 33 minutes past 10 o'clock in East Africa. I come to you, Hajat Sar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry to victimize you so quickly. I hope you're keeping well.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you today?
Today I'm a bit down. I've had a shock this morning.
I mean,
I opened
Okay.
my car has been stolen.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, so I've had a bit of a shock. I went to visit my aunt, and she wanted me to help take her to the airport. And I had a sleepover in Finsbury Park.
Yeah.
And we were planning to go to the airport around 2 p.m. But in the moment, we were like, we'll go in later around 2 p.m. So I stayed with her. We had a chat all through the night, almost like 2 a.m. We went to bed. And in the morning, there was some good news that we had to celebrate. Someone had been given a visa, these care visas that we were looking for.
Yes.
And we had that as very special news in the morning. We're jubilating. So after having breakfast, I was packing a few of my stuff, and she saw some stuff that I had that she liked. And she said, "Oh, where did you get this?" And I said, "I got it from Primark." I said, "Oh, I would want to take it." So I said to her, "Okay, we still have time. Why don't I take you? You have Primark nearby. Why
Yeah.
don't I take you so we pick up this stuff
Mhm.
and then get it into your suitcase?" So we go out. And when I opened the front door, my car was not there.
Allahu Akbar. And
And I got a shock.
so how is it? Have you managed to find it yet?
No, I phoned the police because I'm like, did the council tow it? And there was even no reason for the council to tow it because we had put on the visitors parking permits. So
Yes.
it wasn't a problem. And then I called the police and I said, "Oh no, the thieves are now after those Range Rovers and Lexus vehicles, the new models.
Yes.
So it's been stolen." And they checked on the council system and it wasn't there because they said that the council has told them that we have maybe clamped someone's car or towed someone's car, but it wasn't in the system. And then I have been going through phone calls, the insurance and stuff, and that's my day.
La ilaha illallah. I'm so
All the
sorry to
joy out
hear
of
that.
me.
So couldn't they even bring out the CCTV because that area must have CCTVs, I would
They
imagine.
said they were going to look. The insurance asked me to go around the neighborhood to see if
Yes.
they have some CCTVs. I was in a shock and I said to them, "No, I'm not in that space at the moment. I am trying to take in the information that my car is gone. So I don't feel like I can do anything for you unless it's a must do. So could you please just allies with the police and do that because I'm a visitor. My auntie doesn't know many people. You know how we are here. You
Mm.
only know people in your house. You don't know the neighbors. You can't go knocking on people's doors asking if their CCTVs has picked anything. That's more of a police thing to do." So that was my day. So let's go
Oh,
back to the topic
subhanallah.
now.
No, sorry, so sorry to hear about that.
Oh
But
my
then
God, I'm so shocked.
it was sort of happening in the midst of two news beats that relate to tonight's topic, actually, from the sad news that you've brought. There were
Yeah.
two elements that I picked out that really relate, and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that your car is found. These are things that you would be thinking back home, not imagining that you've come to safety
Happened
and
in
then
the UK.
yes, you wouldn't imagine that you would be worrying about such in a place like this. But let's pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you get to find it. Two things that I picked out. One, alhamdulillah, you're driving a Porsche car. That's nice to hear. It's part of the beauty of being away.
Mm.
And then secondly, it was also the news that you are celebrating a relative that had been granted the care visa. Did you have a hand in that at all?
Yeah. Shekeke, well, I said relative, but it's my son.
Oh,
All
right.
my children are in Uganda and they are well educated but struggling at the moment.
Mhm.
Most of them are in work, but they earn peanuts.
Yes.
And you find that you have all the burden on you looking after them. Some of them have now gotten children and you have to keep on sending money. So when you get that kind of news, when they can come and work for themselves, then you're like, Alhamdulillah. It's
Oh,
so joyous because for a person like me,
yes.
when their dad died, I came on a visit visa.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how much I have struggled before I got in my papers. It has been a very difficult journey,
Mm.
a journey full of fear, a journey full of unknowns, a journey where people have extorted you. You come here, a few friends tell you that, okay, if you've gotten a 6 months visa, you can work and maybe some and a bit of money, and you're like, okay, I'll do that. And the easiest job that one could get in, especially like that time when I came, it was babysitting. So
Yes.
I started babysitting the local people's children, our Ugandan people. But, you know, because you don't have papers, people took advantage of that.
Yes.
And sometimes at the end of the week, when you're looking for money, I mean, for your pay, someone is threatening to call the police because you don't have a status to
You
work.
don't have any papers. Yes.
Yeah. So that was also a problem, you know. So
Yeah.
you were always constantly worried. Then we had a few people who helped us to do our own we had a Ugandan home office where someone would make fake papers, documents for you, put in an indefinite leave, which looks exactly like the one that the home office gives, and you get a passport. But what you had to do is get someone who lives here as what is it, the date of birth. Kati ng'olina okufuna amannya g'omuntu eyafuna ebipapula, amannya g'omuntu obuzaale bwe, kakati n'akatabo e Uganda ne bakakubira nga kali mu mannya g'omuntu olwo byali bikola bulungi nnyo. Kakati ne bakukubiramu ekintu kyo n'ofuna ebipapula bye biva mu home office yaffe e Uganda. Nga ne w'obitwala ew'omuntu yenna w'okola tayinza na kumanya nti ebyo tebiri genuine. Kati ebyo
bayinza okumanya nti si bituufu.
Ne bituyamba ne tukoleramu ebyo. Naye okumanya abantu bano si bangu. Baafuna abaatuloopa ate nga bantu baffe. Nze gw'olaba shekkeke bankwata bukwasi banzijana mu kitanda kyange. After 5 years of using my Ugandan home office papers, I was arrested. And even when those guys came to pick me up, they asked me for my passport. You know, I was in a shock. So I give them my passport and it's got an indefinite leave from my home office. And the guy looked at it and he was in shock. It was exactly like theirs with my NI number. By then they would used to give them to people on cards, you see. And it was exactly like the NI number here. And they couldn't believe it. And when they asked me, what's your name? I gave them my name, the one I was using to work here. But someone had reported me and they had my actual names. So the man stands in front of me and says to me, Sarah, game up. And I asked him, game up? He even gave me my surname. And I was in shock. Then I sat down on the bed and I knew my life is now finished. So it's been quite a journey. What
happened then?
I was taken to detention. I was taken to detention. But, you know, at first I couldn't even cry much. And it was that time when we were fasting the 10 days of Haji. You know, before Haji. The 10 days when we fast. So I was in that. I was in that fast. And when they put me in the truck, you know, those kind of like the dog cages. I started swimming from up and down as the car was going, and I started like having. I wanted to vomit and I couldn't vomit, and I kept on doing that. And they took my hijab off because they worried that maybe I would strangle myself when I was in the cage in that police car. So the one thing they took off me was my hijab. I said, give it to us. You can't have it in there. And then they took me to Wandsworth. Was it? There's the prison, you know, that one near Heathrow Airport.
Wandsworth one now,
So I was put there for a few days, and I was just crying. And when I made my first call, where my family had been informed that I've been locked up, and I understand from a few people that some other people were jubilating that, oh, she's coming back home. And I didn't know what they were going to gain from that. But, you know, when I was taken into prison, detention, because I was caught when I had overstayed, I was working illegally. So I had those issues. And I found some Ugandans who had been there for quite a while. And I wasn't eating because I was fasting, but they didn't understand. They thought maybe I was on suicide. I wanted to commit suicide, so I was put under suicide watch.
Strike.
I was on a strike, which I wasn't. And I was crying every time. So the girls come to me and they said, you know what, Hajat, you should stop crying. Because as you're crying, these guys are planning to take you back home. This is the plan. You have to kola olugero. Kati mbize mu Luganda kuba bagizo mbewuli. Kola olugero nti ng'abaana bampa olugero nga nduyingira olugero nga luvaamu ebigambo ebirungi. Nga bampa release, after release nga mpapula zigwa.
How long did that take for you?
Been on detention for a month and 2 weeks.
Yes.
Bumper interview from 12 midday up to 8 p.m. Non-stop nga kazi kangwiri nga konna kamyuse computer kamyusizza amaaso konna. Nenva munga kasaanikira ndabanga kebagyeko like my brain was popping out. Nga sirina kye njagala kuwulira nga ne lawyer ayogera naye nga saagala kumuwuliza. Kale nkulaga naye nga one thing I've learned here, I don't understand what some Ugandans gain from making life very difficult for others. Because even then when someone ayinza okubeera kind enough naga nkwadde epapula byange bikoleramu naye ate nakulaga nti ate sente zo tajja zikuwa. Natuka omaze okukola ate sente nakulaga nti account kuba ye abayiye era takukwasa kapapula akakaadi takakwasaako. Oyina omusinkana n'azikugirayo naye ogenda okutuukayo n'akulaga ti sente zo tezinnajja oba si kyo sente zo waliwo olayanga nti kaadi baagiridde ate kakati ne tiketi bankubye tiketi nga ngenda mu banka okuggyayo kaadi yo kati nazo
yagenda kuzigirayo gwe
kati n'osasula tiketi ate ne sente n'otozifuna naziketula agenda okukuwa sente nga zonna azisazeesazeeko. So we have gotten some good stuff from here, but it's been very hard. Really
now,
hard.
Actually, I think you would be and you should be one of those people that celebrate your being here. Kubanga, this is one that has been fought for deeply. It's not.
I know.
It's not one of those jokes. It's
no.
It's one that has been fought for deeply.
Kassim.
Yes.
When I was detained, olunaku lwe bannyingiza high blood pressure negenda waggulu. From that time up to now, miraddagala. It has never gone back. Tufunyeewo endwadde. Weeraliikirira abaana bo balekeeka. Weeraliikirira obulamu bwa wano. Nze emyaka egyo 5 gye namala. I used to look at my shoulder all the time. When namala ofuna mwana wange n'annyamba ku baana bange abali wano nampaka kaadi where I could withdraw my money.
Yes.
Every time I would go katuli wali. Mba maga. Police kaneemala eyimirira awo okumpi. Sente nsobola nozireka katuli.
But these are the
zisomangako ku bulaadi na dduwa nga bwe nazisoma mu biseera ebyo. From the time you walk out of the house, Olikula ilaha illallah anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin, up to the door of your walker. No ibera no furuma same thing.
Police. No bola traffic wadde ni parking wadde.
So when ngenda kujja nzija. Because now I'm sure because Choko Zachinene is to open up people. When you to come conversations like these ones, people now get a bit guarded. Given that now these are the experiences, because for a person that is back home, okuzanyisa sente zo n'atamanya, you know what effort you've gone through. But now let us look at the positive side. Now you started working and you are sending money back home. How did that feel for you? What has that been probably?
The thing is, even before, even through those thick times, I think I even did more stuff when I was in that kind of situation.
Because you're thinking anytime
every day I knew I was going on the plane. Yeah, and I would just leave like 200 pounds for me. All the rest would go. To the extent I sent so much money that one day it was withheld, confiscated at Salabed. Kubanga emyaka gye njogeramu gye gya 2010, 11 now nga gyakatandika. So it used to be a lot of money, like 1,600 pounds every month. Nga ndigalawo nga 2 oba 10. ne batuuka ekiseera okumbuuza akawunti sente kwe ziva nzikola ntya nziweereza ntya. And I tell you, in that time is when I did so much, paid school fees for my kids, did some developments. Kati olwalo nga bw'olaba nti banzibyeko emmotoka eri poshi, sente zigenda ku insurance, sente zigenda mu ebyo. So there is no much saving, like, because I know my stay here is secure. So absolutely. You end up having that life you've loved for yourself. But before, because you knew that any day, anytime, if I go to work, nga toyagala nakuleka sente mu nyumba sikulwanga banajja ne bakutwala n'ozireka awo. So it had to go.
Yes, you move with the money. Hajat Sarah, thank you very much. I mean, your stories are never, you know, you're never short of interesting conversations. And I'm sure if you just joined us in the middle of Hajat Sarah's submission, we are celebrating Nkuba Kyeyos. And actually, before I let you go, Hajat Sarah, and I'll go to Isa Makumbi, whose hand is up. Well, but I think so. Wade was first engineer, and then I'll come to you. Hajat Sarah, looking back to the struggle and where you are at now, what would you say that you are celebrating the most? Because tonight is a celebration of the Nkuba Kyeyos. What do you look at and you just feel like, this is me, this is my energy?
Well, like I've said to you that I've done lots of developments back home. I managed to complete my house. I've got some tenants' houses. So I'm looking at my retirement as set. So I'm quite happy. And my children achieved what I wanted. First of all, when I came here, my goal was to educate my children. And that has been well established, accomplished. My children have all finished school and they've attained very good high degrees and in good courses. So that's one thing I'm also celebrating. And also the life. Allah taking me through all that, I can say he was so kind to me that despite the fact that I used whatever I used to get an income, I managed to get an income. I was never short of bread. So I always had food, I had everything. So God protected me. And and I think even when they caught me and detained me, it was a step in another beautiful direction, you know.
Absolutely, so, because
even today I celebrate the person who reported me.
Oh,
because they
you know them?
I had never thought that I would ever, because when I came here, they said it is very hard to get papers.
Yes.
So I never thought of doing that ever. My aim was just to get as much as I can and go out. But for someone who had the guts to report me, and I'm where I am today, I'm even more secure here. I'll never leave until I want to. I celebrate them.
Did you have a time frame, Hajat Farida, when you came? Or are you one of those target people as in 6 months or 1 year and you'll be out, or you didn't know?
I can't say I was having a target because my kids were young.
Right.
So I was like, I need to see them through school, and that doesn't take one day, you see. Fantastic. So much as I had the 6 months on my visit visa, I wanted more time.
Right. All right. Barakallah. Thank you very, very much. I'll come to Sowendi. I'll come to you quickly and then I'll go to Engineer Isa Makumbi. Remember, if you have anything to say, just raise your hand and I'll come to you. I think Hajat Sarah has sort of opened, the discussion for us tonight in a very, very happy way. Well, sad bit of the story, usual stories of people eating people's monies and, you know, misplacing people's cards, but a good thing came out of someone who went to report her to the Home Office. So, Edi, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, Soed.
Hello, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome to the conversation. It's been a while. We have not had you in the conversation, but alhamdulillah, you're here.
Yeah.
And tonight we are celebrating the Nkuba Kyeyos. I'm sure there would be a lot to celebrate on your part.
Wallahi, we have come a long way. Whatever the last speaker has been altering, I was talking about, most of us, I think half of it, we share the same story in terms of waking up every time thinking, this is my last week, my last month. And to the, you know, let me tell you the one most interesting story. I had a car, and that day I picked up one of the brothers from Uganda. It was his first time. He had arrived. We picked him up, and
so wait, hold on. You had a car. Did you have papers to have a car?
Yeah, but I never
right.
had. But I didn't have a driving license.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. Now the guy we picked up from the airport, he had he had a driving license from Uganda, because we told him Bobo Jajangune international driving license, right?
Yeah.
So he came with one of them. Then when we picked him up with my other friend, I called my other friend. He's the one who knew how to drive. He took me at the airport. We picked him up. It's my car. I don't have a driving license, but I own the car. So this guy, he wanted to go to the town center on the same first day, the very first day.
What was the rush? What was he picking up from the town center?
We are excited. He wants to see Landa. He wants to see Ulaya.
Yes.
Because remember, when we're picking him up from Heathrow, we were driving on the motorway. You don't get the feel of the skyscrapers you were expecting to see in London, right? When you cut off the M25 down on the M23 down to Crawley, Gatwick, you never
miss out. You're driving literally in countryside.
So and he kept on asking, town area. So and we are like, we have town area. So he said, Mutugenda Mutawne. He jumps in the car with another guy. They drive through the red lights. The drive through, police comes after them, and then red flashing lights all over. Ooh, blue lights. Ooh, the guy he cruises. He bumps. He drops the car there. He jumps out, rushes into the house. They all go into. Where the police open.
Is that your house? At your house?
Yes, we were about 9 of us in the house, and at least only 2 or 3 people had papers.
Yes.
This is the situation. Everyone jumped over the garden fence, and people started running, and police said, open. Then when we opened, we're looking for the driver of this car. I said, it's my car. Are you the driver? Are you the one? They said he was a tall guy. He's a tall guy. He was driving this car, and he's light-skinned. It's not you. Where's the guy? I said, oh, my friend. The guy comes out.
Was he still there? He was not amongst those that ran away?
No. He had a visitor's visa. It was still valid.
Right. Yes.
Still valid. So it was his first day with his visitor's visa.
Committing a crime on first day on a visitor's visa.
Yes.
Interesting.
Now everyone that was staying at the house disappeared. They all went to the mosque and stayed at the mosque. They camped at the nearby mosque. They did not come back home. Now we tussled out with the police. The police, he pulled out his passport. They saw that it was his first day of arrival. And the police then were kind people. And in West Sussex, we tried to explain we are students. The other one was saying he's a visitor. He just came. He didn't know that he was supposed to stop on that, on those lights. They started discussing among themselves. It was a male and female. They went outside. They started discussing. They said, we are going to give him a caution because it is his first day. But people did not come back. What I'm driving at is people never came back at that address. That was the last time. They asked
the ones who ran away.
Yeah, the other occupants, our friends, never came back. That was the last time. They said
not even to say sorry about what happened or to check on you.
No. The ones that disappeared, the ones that ran away, they said, I've brought in someone in the house who's going to cost them their livelihood. They were telling me to in a family that Uganda or so they kindly asked for their luggage to go and look for a house elsewhere. And they decided to abandon me and the other guy, 3 of us in the house. And you remember that time we were not making enough money. The house was expensive. We had to call around other people to find a way of occupying the other rooms because none of us could afford that kind of rent. So, and remember, this guy has come. He doesn't have a job. He reference. Now he has messed up. My housemates have walked away. I started calling everyone around that I know of that can now rehouse us. because we failed to sustain the tenants at that address. Kati eyo ne tuvaayo. Naye my story, when we first arrived in London, was East London was the first point. It was my first point, my first stop.
And your plan was you had come to stay, or you had come with a target period? Because that's important for tonight's conversation.
It was strictly 1 year. That was my plan.
And in that 1 year, the plan was
to make money quickly. There's a piece of land that I always dreamed of owning back home, and I was like, I want to make money. I want to go back and go to our neighbors. I want to buy their piece of land. I had plans for that place. So my first stop was East London, Manor Park, to be precise. The first week, second week, I spoke to my host, Nemgamanti, you know, we are looking for, there are no jobs in London. That is when someone picked up a phone call and said, oh, there's another brother in Crawley. They tell us that Crawley has got jobs. Yeah. So when if you want to work, you must be ready to go outside London. So on that day, me and another brother of mine, another brother called Musa, and another friend of mine, we got onto the train. They gave us the directions. We came to Crawley station. Someone was waiting for us. They took us to the agency. And when we registered, the guy told us there's work tonight. We were surprised. There's work tonight. We did not go back to London. We went and washed in a public toilet, right? We went and washed in a public toilet. We went to work a night shift. It was CD parking. It was a place that parks CDs. We went and worked a night shift. Then
CDs for radios.
Yes. Then I approached a taxi driver. Yeah. A Pakistani guy. I asked him that where is the nearest mosque. He told us that it's about 1 hour's walk from here. So I walked to that masjid. When I got there, I asked for the imam of the masjid. I took him mukafunda omunsonda bada dhude awo nga umanyi tindinawe ensonga yange wano nga abantu bamaze okusala. I put him mukakona. I started narrating my story. You know, we are brothers from Uganda. You know, we arrived in London, but our host he cannot keep us any longer than this. He's telling us, you go and find somewhere else. Now we have come to Crawley. Good enough, we have got jobs, but we have nowhere to stay. Tubasaba tusule ko wano mu muzigiti nga ffe tulooza bya Uganda ng'ebya Uganda nga ffe tumanyi biringa ebya Uganda bye babakkiriza ne mwebaka bwe basi mu muzigiti. So this guy is like, guno muswiba gwenyi, this is difficult. I need to consult and when I turn okutegeera nti emizigiti giba n'ezi committee ziri serious, I need to speak to my chairman of the mosque. I need to speak to other committee members because, you know, I'm just the imam. There's a committee that runs this masjid. I need to speak to them. Now, when the man, he said that he will revert to us during Asri Salah. Now that was when we approached him. Asri, he said he would get back to us after Asri. We stayed at the mosque waiting. Now the guy came and told us that there were about 3, 4, 5 people. Two had on the committee.
Right.
Two were saying yes, the 3 were saying no. Yeah. Now, because of that, they said, okay, now they are going to go halfway. They said they were giving us exactly 2 days. Yeah.
To sleep in the mosque.
In the mosque, the women's section in the corner. So because the women were not praying, they were not praying from that room. It's only Fridays when women were allowed to come in. So they gave us two nights in the place, but along the road, there's another brother that came with good news at Isha. He told us that his father, inti Tatawe, Amwadechi, are in a 3-bedroom house and is willing to give it to us. But him is going to stand in for us as a deposit and the rent. So when we work at the end of the month, we pay him his money.
Wow. There are
This
people
is,
and people. That's a Muindi, not a.
that is the Muindi in Pakistan.
Yes.
In Pakistan, this guy, Nendoza nti tuwulidde bubi n'agamba, yes, I'm going to take you. You stay for free. It's a 3-bed house. At the end of the month, you begin paying me slowly and recover my money. Now, the sad thing is, the old man was staying in the same property. Yeah? Yali azze mu ddiiro. So but what did the 3 bedrooms upstairs?
All right.
Kati munnaffe omu gye twajja naye ng'anoonya nnyo omuwala omuzungu. Kati wulira Seka, tuli awo munnaffe omu mu first 3 days nga afubutuka n'omuwala omuzungu amuleeta. Muzeeyi azuukuka ewaka wasanga mulimu omuzungu mu kiyungu kye. Omuwala omuzungu ate ali almost half naked. The old man n'abuukako n'agamba, naleese sheitwanzi mu nnyumba yange zino. N'akubira mutawanyi we n'agamba, bano sibaagala wano. Imagine, muba mutandika mutya kati okuddayo ku muzikiti gye babayambidde. Hardly 1 week, 2 weeks, we were in trouble. We were facing a situation of homelessness. And there's no way we're going to face these guys.
Yes.
Did
you go to apologize? Did you go to apologize to the old man?
Old man yali mukambwe nnyo kati. Now it was now between us and the son, negotiating the son to talk to him. Because the guy was not very fluent in English. Yali ayogera luudu. Kati nga his son, gye tuyitamu amuconvincing amunnyonnyole nti ono omuwala, bakwano ba sister wono. Nagamba ba sister be batya bano mugambye nti bankajja mu ggwanga, mwagambye tebalina bantu muno, ate which sisters? Muzeeyi nga Seka twafuna obuzibu. It was hard. Now the difficult thing is going back to the mosque. Bagambe bano abasiraamu be twabadde tuyamba wano ate babali evictinga nti babadde eri kye byakoze tebirikwatagana. So twalina obuzibu again. Guy na oyo guy tiyatwabulira. Era oyo guy, one of my friends, yazaala omwana we wano n'amutuuma erinnya lya guy oyo. Guy tiyatwabulira. Taata we ng'atugobye. The guy ono bamuyita Rahid. Akyaliwo ne last week twabaddeko naye yafiiriddwa kazini we. Rahid n'atufunira ewalala ewa friend we. Naye this time around n'atufunira room egi emu. Fena tugende tweyuwa omwo.
You had to leave the other 3 bedroom. You had to leave Muzeeyi's house.
Muzeeyi yagaana no la kyali no and that yali takyusaamu.
There's no staying
after 2 weeks. Kati we twagenda eri mu 3 bed mu 1 room 3 people. Nga tulina munnaffe mulala. You remember the late Majid who passed away? That from Nkuba Kyeyos. Yeah, that one. Kati yali alikuwa arriving that month. Naye kati jukira gye batutte mu 1 room. Oyo naye yalina strict condition nti tayagala mu extra person mu nyumba gyatawadde atali ku tenancy. Kati our guy alikuwa arriving nga ate temusobola muleka. Kati naye alikuwa arriving in 2 days. Naye nga we have to negotiate with this landlord akkirize tubeeremu bana ono talina waalaga. Kati Majidi yali azeeko n'obusente bwe. Ne tugende wa friend waffe. Laka musajja watu agende mu toilet y'omuntu ateekaawo yagenda mu toilet ya mukwano gwaffe. We went to visit on his first day of arrival. Ntwalake wa gundi tumulabe. Naye gundi waali. Tugende wa friend waffe. N'ayingira mu toilet yalina envelope ye ne paperwork ye ne passport. Yalina ne 510 pounds. Ziyali ajze nazo okuva Uganda. N'abirestinga wano ku sink. You know these toilets with the bathroom in. N'abirestinga ku sink. Kati we twamala okwogera, bwe yamala okukozesa toilet ye, we twali tugenda twafuluma bufulumye. Tutuuka eno ewaka we twali okusula mu 1 room kubanga twali tugenda munoonyeza room such that twetememu babiri bagibere eri ne omu abere ne Majidu babiri basigale eno. So that was the plan. Ne okuddayo eri nga ate sente gye ziri nga paperwork yaliwo sente zibuze naye mu nyumba imagine seeka mwalimu omwana w'emyaka 2 n'omusajja omukulu. Omusajja ne yeegana ne tugamba kuggwe ne mutabanyi wo waliwo yatutte sente z'omusiraamu. So story Majidis obusente bwaze nabo first day babubbye atandise okuba Uganda natuukidde mu basajja bankubise. Kati ku kyalo we face a problem ku kyalo. Bajjeyo munaabwe ne bamukuba sente. Tavuka bayonooneka baatuukira London ne kati bafu. Bawerukaminze munaabwe bamututte bamuggyeko sente. Okukyejja to explain to people back home nti sente ayina we yagenze ne bazirira mu toilet y'omuntu. It was very, very difficult sake. So
so Ed, you came in and your plan was to be here for 1 year.
Yes. Now
how long have you been here? No.
I came in this country on the 22nd September 2001.
Right. So that puts you at 24 years. Now, actually, no, 25 years as of now, almost.
Yeah.
No, it's 22 years. 22 years.
In 2010, I almost packed and went back, Seka.
Why?
Because I almost packed and left the country. Kubanga, you know, when you go back to Uganda, no so kofuna that excitement. You see the economy is booming, with Chimuchitambla. You have a friend Tomanyita in a bank loan, alikuvuga like Land Cruiser TX, yeah. You go, you don't, you know, you go, the people you left back home, Tomani, the nitty-gritties, the background to their money, begin saying, the best I've done is okuzimba bipang sabjine mizigo, atebanziba bubi, because you work sending the money back home. You work sending the money back home. Sente bazilia. Then cause the business za mirundu ngena seka, bazilia zona. All the businesses, even the last business I had, the last person to be sacked from my business was last week. Nata demune cameras. I've been running a shop, nata demu cameras, but still, you could see on the cameras that she has also employed other people. Agamba, you know, it is. Yeah, I would not even advise anyone to go into retail business. Maybe Sheikh, you who's in farming, it makes sense. But with retail business, it is a no-go zone area. To be honest,
right. So tonight's conversation about the celebration. Now, it's not just cutting you through, but looking back, you've been able, first of all, to do 4 businesses, and we all of which have sort of gone.
I'm coming to celebrating this country.
I want to bring in more people into the conversation.
Now the celebration bit of it is this, yeah. Into one, alhamdulillah, into empapulazaso kanizitawanya. The first 10 years were difficult when it came to papers.
So 10 years paperless.
Yeah, the first 10 years, that is Kubanga. That is the time when you were working. You're not even thinking. Kubanga, listen, even investment in this country, it was a non-starter for me, because I was like, Simani I will not have a visa next week to be here, so I'm going back home. So there was no second option for me. And Simani kugula mortgage what. I always thought I was going. I spent all the money there. But the one thing that I managed and succeeded is when you got the papers. When I got the papers, and I've said to everyone that, look, I know I've not got what I thought I would get, but one thing I take away from this country is I have the network. Alhamdulillah, I appreciate the network. My network is working for me. My network is working for me because it even strengthened my networks abroad as well. By being here, now my networks is alimu lose zamala nezinywera nti. I keep telling people that if this country is they're being segregative, they're being funny with immigration and all this, you can don't pull ropes with them. We always joke around with my other friend, because alina abaana be waka, alina abaana be abroad. We say that we shall change the demography of this country through the bedroom. So what we do is gendo za lebuzazi bana gubabawo obutabu gubasigaleyo baloze nga nti abaddugavu tumali naye bagenda okutabamanyi nti eriyo the junior Kassim Kayira gye bazadde Uganda agenda kujja walking through the gates of Heathrow without being stopped. So tomorrow yes bwenzaala omwana e Uganda baagala tebaagala, I can pass over my citizenship to them. So that one, when I mastered it, nengamba nti kangende nzaala abaana e Uganda as many as I bensobola. Kati legacy yange chovola, I keep telling people, and what I've done for the kids is, one, when you secure the future for the kids in terms of empower them with education, or empower them with citizenship for this country, say citizens, because the truth of the matter is these guys, they have got the most powerful passports around the world. Yeah. So it can take them places. So once you give those two to your child, give them a passport and give them the education, the rest gendo olunde ntezo ngaseka Kassim, you relax.
Barakallahu fikum Soed. Just simply because I want to bring in more people, please do not go away, because I'm sure people will come up with more aspects to the conversation. Very interesting to hear so far from the two people who have eaten up quite a significant chunk of the time, but I think it's worth it.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
No reason to be sorry. Actually, at celebration, you've given the children the passports, so you've given them a sense of ability to travel, ability to move between one end and another, and you've created your pension. So even if you go home, hopefully, inshallah, they should be able to remember you and be able to send the money that can make you live very comfortably. Our pension fund as Africans are our children. Thank you very much, Soedi. Barakallahu fikum. Stay there, please. I go to Isa Makumbi, and I'll be going to the ladies as well so that we can balance the conversation. We hear from the ladies and hear from the men. Engineer Isa Makumbi, your story is another very interesting one. We've had bits and pieces of it, and welcome to the conversation. First into the Soviet Union in the Amini era, and then you ended up in UK, in the United States, almost back to Uganda. You have a lot to tell just in terms of your diaspora. You are Nkuba Kyeyos story.
Assalamu alaikum tabarakat.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
I think it will be classic, but I don't know how can I term it.
Yes.
I left Uganda, that was 75. For me, straight when I left A-level, I didn't have
1975, you left Uganda.
Yeah, when I finished my A-level, I got a scholarship to go and study. I was supposed to go to Kayira, but the subject they were offering us was not acceptable. So I got a scholarship. Can't believe it, because I didn't pay any penny. Even the passport was given by the government. So I took a plane to Russia, Moscow, where I went there early before they started the semester. I was in Moscow for 1 month, doing nothing. Eventually, I had the senior students who were with them. Before I could master the language, they told me how to do business.
Were these Ugandans or Russians?
Ugandans.
Oh, they were Ugandans that you already found there.
I found there. If I could even communicate in their language.
Yes.
Because to sell umbrellas, you buy from there's what they call Bioska, where there's foreign currency. Like I came with some money, I used to go to those foreign currency, those shops, buy umbrellas, sell them in the market, make money before I could manage the language, communicate with the language. So come September, started our term, started running the language. Teacher, I was surprised, say, you know some part of the language, when it comes to commercial things, you know the names. How come you know the names? I said, no, I was just fascinated with that.
So how would you do it, Isa? How would you speak? How would you know how to tell the money then?
Because I had a senior student, there's what they call Zontic, that is umbrella. Used to take us to the market. We sell them to the Russians. It was very lucrative business.
Where would you get them from?
There's a shop they call Bioska, like duty-free shops for foreigners. And
right, yes.
Yeah. So you make money, you get those umbrellas, you sell them, you convert the money from this, you get the dollars from the diplomats. Then you go back to the shops and make money. So made money before I could start speaking the language. Then it was a bit risky when I went to first year, second year. It was a bit risky If you are caught by the Russian, you could be deported. Then I said, there's a foreign currency. I say my business was just to deal with the foreigners. So there's diplomats have got special currency, which have a higher value and higher rate, and dollars. I open up in my wardrobe what a exchange bureau, whereby people come, the students who come from places like Leningrad. For me, I was in Moscow. They used to come to my place and exchange money. They get me their local currency. I give them dollars.
So they would travel. They would travel from Leningrad to Moscow to just come and get
on the way to Europe, because they could get a visa, go to Britain, go anywhere.
So ka forex bureau wali wakagula order.
Nakagula order kali mu kawada yange. Naye nga beewuunya tekuvaako kufulu bambuze lwaki okaggalawo nga bwe sikaggale bajja kubba ssente zange naye nga ko kale ki kamanyiddwa ne bonna baagamba ngula ssente nga bajjaawo badiplomats banguza their currency nenzitunza abaana ogenda ogula mu bioscar then exchange I became a goman. So I was more into that one. Come 79 when there was trouble, and then I got involved in the students' union. The good thing that I got from Russia, they introduced me to politics because it was part of it. There were some pro-voters and DPs were crashing. So we used to fight for the leadership of the union called USUSU, Uganda Student Union in Soviet Union. So it was really campaigning to become the leader and do that one. The good thing about that one, it showed me how you deal with the public. People have got different problems. Students are being fired. You go to the Minister of Education, pleading for them not to be sacked. Some fighting with the police. You are called up to go to the police, sort them out from the police cells and the relatives. They didn't put them in the cell, but they put them in a cooling place. So I got more interested into that. 71, when I say 81, graduated. Said, I'm not going to Europe. I have to go and get work somewhere. Before 1979, I was demonstrating in Libyan embassy. When Amin was students, when Amin was about to go, there was a lot of opposing the government because I mean what was doing by then, the people didn't like it, blah, blah. We got some of like the picture winning, those who are politically oriented, telling us to go into politics, opposing the government for no reason, just oppose. Then I found myself that I got a place, workplace. I was offered a job in Libya, but I back of my mind say, are they speaking me to get me in Libya so that they could put me in prison for having demonstrated in the embassy? So it was just a bit fearing. When I went to Libya, life was so different. I've never experienced such a life.
How different?
Yeah, the thing is, I used to work with my friends who were engineers. Most of them came from America, graduates. I was working in nuclear reactor center. So Friday, Monday to Sunday to Thursday, we are working together. As soon as we leave the office, we had a flat. It's a big complex, about 6 floors. The first floor was for the bachelors. I didn't have any girlfriend, or I didn't have anybody. I was a bachelor. But I couldn't go above or kugenda first floor. From first floor, yali abafumbo bokka. Naye bonna bamanager nga bajja wange okuba chance. Naye nga sobola genda in their place. Fun enough, Fridays, nga bakola emmere bakifumbire ne bagyeta bo kujja off kuba chance. It was so known.
Does you mean matatu?
Matatu. Cards. Right. So it was part of that one. Then when I moved to Tripoli, I was just going to the mosque. It was Juma. I bumped the Ugandans. We were speaking language. They were speaking the language. I was so much excited. I found them. One of them was Sheikh Kalantan.
Oh, you meet with Sheikh Kalantan in Libya.
Yeah, that's why I bumped with him, Sheikh Kalantan. Then my life changed because other than spending the time at home alone, I used to go to their place. They used to call it Uganda House, whereby most of them were students, the sheikhs to be. Most of those sheikhs, we are staying in that place. So life became normal. Friday, leave my place, 8 to go to their place. We leave at around 10 p.m. to go back to where I was staying. Much of the time we are playing cards. We go to the mosque, pray, then come back home, play cards. Matatu. Then after 4 years, said, no. Kalantan had gone. Most of those people I was familiar with had gone. Life was becoming a bit unbearable. By then I'd married. I said, no, if I'm to raise a family, I can't be in this place. I have to leave Libya.
You had married in Libya?
Yeah, I married in Libya.
So you met your wife in Libya?
Yeah, I met my wife in Russia.
Oh,
but
right.
We married, they lived the marriage in Libya. Then I said, the second time I leave that place, said, yeah, I have to go to London. Now, my intention was to go to Uganda. They asked me, they told me so much, they asked me not, convinced me not to go. I said, no, I'm going to Uganda. You say Uganda by then was very unstable. Lot had come in, a lot of things was going on. But for me, I turned a blind eye. I said, I've had enough. I'm going home. But when Sheikh was leaving, when he graduated, told him that if you go, make sure that you come to Europe. Don't go to Africa. Life will be very hard over there. Came to London. I knew when he went around, he came to London. I was in touch with him. I was staying with a friend, talked to him, advised me, said, no, for me, I'm not staying in London. I'm going back to Uganda. I was determined. He said, okay, if you're going to Uganda, I'll give you transport. I'd booked a flight from Heathrow to Nairobi to Kampala. I was supposed to leave at 7. Sheikh, the one who knew how to drive, had a car. Said, okay, I'll pick you up, take you to the airport. He came at 8. I was filming with him. Then he said, young man, what's going on? He still advised me to stay in Europe. Now you're going back to Africa. What's wrong? I said, I'm going. So, okay. He said, okay, if you're not going this time, Wednesday there'll be a flight. I'll take you to the airport. Then on the way back to Uganda. Come Wednesday, did the same thing. He disappeared. He didn't provide transport for me to take me to the airport.
So he was trying to stop you from going
to stop
back
me
to
go. Then he said, okay. Then he said, he talked about, why can't you stay for at least for a week or 3 weeks? You know how life is. You get news trickling from Kampala. Where I was, then I could get news from Kampala. Getting that way going on, how life was in Kampala. Then it became a bit difficult. Then I said, I was living with someone there. It was because I felt very uncomfortable. I had a house, said, I'm living in someone's house, had children, so they were sleeping in the sitting room, but they used to go to bed very late. And the children used to wake up early in the morning. So would hardly sleep 4 hours a night. Then he talked to my friend, enough is enough, I have to move out of there. But then I said, I'm checking out. When I checked out, he said, okay, check out. I went in the hotel. I was there when I went in the hotel. I said I could afford the pay. Then he said, young man, that's not how life in this place is. He said, be in the hotel. Then he said, okay, one day we'll shake said, okay, I'm taking you to, used to be, what they call it, job center, not job center, immigration report, is whereby you go and report for the benefit. He told me this is the place where I go, talk about yourself, all the questions, whatever it is. I found a young lady that talked about that I'm a refugee from Uganda. I came here. She was so sympathetic. Even she was writing things that I never told her on the paper to make life very easy. If I left the office, they gave me 20 pounds. That's for upkeep. Then he said, go around anywhere. When you get a house, where to sleep, come to this place, and then we'll give you pay for the accommodation.
Wow.
Then I said, they said, don't go back to the hotel. Then I was living with him. He had a bed seat. So he said, you had a man who was the caretaker who was there. He knew that I was leaving that house, but he wanted me to take a bed seat. So he came one day on Sunday morning at 6. He got me red-handed. He said, yeah, you are leaving this place. You have to pay for the rent for one month because I've been leaving this place. Then the man said, okay, I'll take to my landlord. He was a Ghanaian man, he was a very nice man. He said, okay, have you got deposit? I don't have I had the money, but I told him that I'm not going, I've got no deposit. Then I got a bed seat. From that, life changed on. Then I had to process my papers. The other thing is when he came here, he said it was night. We said you have to go to disco. So there's cover there. One of them he was a jolly man. None of us had a car. We're not A to Z. Okay, if you read the book, you can come back.
Now, for today's generation, they would even struggle to know what A to Z is, given the GPS that is on phones. We had to have those books where you just find your roads on the map.
We got one who knew London.
Yeah.
We followed him up to Park Lane. There was a disco, very nice disco. We danced, blah, blah, blah. One more that is going back.
Yes.
To Effort and Kassim. Say, you've got a car. What's the big problem? So it's okay, it's okay. When we are from there, we had to go to someone at the rail station. We end up on M40. We are driving so Oxford. So where are we going? The car had some mechanical that was overheating. We said we have to get off the motorway. We end up in Wembley. Say, how can we get back to Effort and Castle? Said, no. We stopped the police car. We want to go to Wembley. We want to go to Effort and Castle. He said, what's that has to do with us? He said, you've got a car? What else? Drive. You've got A to Z? We never knew how to read A to Z. So we said, okay. We hired a taxi. The taximan was a black cab. He said, what's wrong with you? You've got a car? You want a black cab? He said, yes. He does from Wembley to Effort and Castle. Then from Effort and Castle, we can make our way back. When we were driving, we knew most of the South London, but across the river, it was a problem. So then we got our way home, but the guy we were living together was surprised. Say, we got home at 7 in the morning. He said, where have you been? We didn't want to tell him that we lost. It was just embarrassing. A tourist in New London than us. So he said, okay, go. After that, went to the disco till morning. Though we lost our way back to where we were staying. Then he said, okay, fine. Then I said, come to my papers, documents. By then, we have very few Ugandans. You used to come here, say if you're applying for Siam, you just say, write a letter, go to the post office, put the passport in the post office, send to Luna House. Within 2 or 3 weeks, got called for the interview. You go in that one, Luna House. It was so scaring. He would say, I had a friend to me that I had a booked appointment with the Home Office. And your company said, no, I'll take you there near the Luna House. Other than that, don't even mention my name, please. So that's it. I went for the interview. It was just a woman was asking so many questions, twisting left, right, and center, lifting left. And one day behaved as if supporting you. Then after 10 or 20 minutes, is against you, or threatening that you'll be deported. I said, okay. Then I said, fine. I went for interview. When I came out, everybody was asking, how was the interview? I was very confident that I've got the interview, I'll be having my papers, blah, blah, blah. But by then, you could get national insurance and start to work.
Which would allow
even,
you to
even before you could get any residence, you could work.
Now, Issa, looking at 1975, when you leave Uganda, embark on a journey that took you through Russia, into Libya, into United Kingdom. You spent some time in the US. I'm totaling the time you've been away is almost 50 years that you have been in the diaspora. That's quite a long time. What have you been able, if you look back, that you for education that was never meant for that? I beg your pardon?
That's what I'm coming to.
Yes. So looking back,
that's what I'm going to say. The Soviet impact that had molded me into my life. When I came to this place, I saw people were very selfish. They don't want to help their friends. So when
Ugandans.
it came Ugandans,
Yes.
I had, because I knew much of, I was much in program the politics. We had the stamps for Ugandans, an organization. Anybody who was applying for visa, blah, blah, paper documents, I could stamp. Such for so and so is legible, blah, blah, you can do all those works, supporting statement to the Home Office. I was doing all those things. I don't know how many people I've done for those papers, supporting them. They used to say I need to get some support or whatever backing statements to prove that it was. I had a stamp it, sign it, off you go, as long as you have the cause. Then the other thing was, by that time, AIDS hit Europe. For us, we are abroad, we are protected, we didn't have any of those infections. I had a friend, was a Muslim guy, used to go with him to the mosque, central London. He disappeared out of the blue. Then he said, you asked, where was he? He said the man has gone, disappeared, he's gone somewhere. We inquired. Told him that has been taken to St. George Hospital. He died and was cremated. A Muslim. Say, you're cremating a Muslim. Say, you have to change things, can't be like that. Then we started forming AIDS organization with Chikama and the rest. So I spent much of my time into those organizations. Part of the social part of it, those were, because by then it was a taboo, community in age. Issue ya abantu protecting about abantu secrets bizikumaza their documents bakola ki obutamanyi bwantu no mulwadde waki tutandika ebibiina binakola ki binayamba abantu abo bitwakola ekintu ekyo.
For our listeners, for viewers and listeners in tonight's conversation, just to remind you, this is Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. We are live on 75W Radio. We are live on Uma Connected. It's 36 minutes past 9 o'clock. Isa Makumbi, for those who don't know you, you have been quite instrumental within the Ugandan diaspora community. You were part of the groups that came up to help. Actually, you're saying you established this network that began to help Ugandans since you found that this was not happening. You are part of the founding members of the Uganda Muslim Community, UMC, which has now grown to become a very big organization. You worked in the council for quite some time and helped many people actually access housing and so on. This is quite different from what you say you found with many Ugandans.
Yeah, but that's the thing of, when it comes to that, I was more into helping people. In my place, because anybody I said, you can come at my place at any time. I was not like this. I say, I'll become a white if I could shake the head and my hair turns. But the culture was, I say, I have to be a Ugandan. My home was more accessible to people. Then when it came to my immigration status, I was given exception limit to remain. I said, no, when there was a form which you signed, I objected. When I told people that I've objected, I'm going to court. Everybody were scared. Say, what's with you, man? You've got a residence to be here for some time and you're objecting. I say, yes, I'm going to court. I want full refugee status. I talked to Francis Wenje, but he was a friend of mine. He said, I'm going to accompany to the court. He's a lawyer by then. I went to near BBC, there's a court over there in the corner. Waiting for him, he was not to be seen. Walked around, started trembling. Then the court man came around. Mr. Makumbi, it's your time to go and meet the judge. Explain, give him the reason why you object. I went in the court alone. Then the judge asked me if I had anybody that accompany me, a lawyer. I said, are you a lawyer? I said, no, I'm not a lawyer. Who are you? I'm alone. Say, what objection? I would say, why do you object? I say, I object to this one. So what are the reasons? The man said, in fact, sympathized. Say you're a very brave man. Coming here alone with no lawyer, any legal representation. He said, full refugee status. Off I went. Then I met Wenje. He said, ask him, you didn't turn up. He said, yeah. My wife was so sick, blah, 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 give me excuses. Then say, what was the case? I said, full refugee status. Then after that one, I said, yeah. The issue is Ugandans. I've been hearing so many stories about what was going on, people reporting people to police, whatever it was. I said, no, that behavior has to change. all of us have got one goal, to be here. If at all anything, then I started asking people to start forming up small organizations, having like trying to organize Eid. It was a community whereby you said the Eid that is for Muslim has to be open to others. We used to have meeting places like Waterloo. Much of it was more of the Christian. But I said you have to come there with meet all these kajumbas, we talk about it, looking at welfare of each organization. Then when it came to ASEA, I said you have to have ASEA. The purpose of those to provide people, to get people reference, Uganda and Baga reference. Omuntu avudde Kampala bw'anafuna omubavuzi olina reference, sina reference. Tusawo police nti omuntu bw'anajja mu ASEA, wiiki emu gyabo oba oyagala ofuna reference jangu okole wiiki emu. Tukweki reference. And that helped many Ugandans. They say come to ASEA. And one day I was called to home office. Say you are, when it came to references, I was giving references to the home office. Such for so and so has been here for some time, you know him. Reference, you're backing someone that you know him. They called me to home office, said, are you doing business? I said, what type of business? You've recommended more than 400 Ugandan. I think it's more than 100 Ugandan. It's a business. Then I say, oh, it's not a business. All those I signed for, I know them. Bring them, I'll show that because I know each and everybody, because I've been working more into the organization when I was at home. My father is fully involved in the community. So I know most of those back. And I feel that what I've learned from this one, what I learned from Soviet Union, that never be short selfish. If you're somewhere, help someone. And I had people here who used to come and say, visitors used to come to Uganda from Uganda. I say, okay, I'll give my national insurance on condition that you bring it here every week to check, so that you haven't done it. Then you used to use my work under my name, blah, blah. And I had accounts for those in the post office. Say, yeah, I can sign under my name, but I keep the book. You keep the card, but for me, I keep the card. You keep the card. For me, you know these post office books.
Yes.
You keep it. Because I don't want to say anything, say that I was storing your money, blah, blah, blah. So never they come on Saturdays or Fridays, go to the post office, they get their money. I didn't take any money from them. Because I learned from that. When I came here,
yes,
I wanted to, when I was applying for the passport, there's a friend of mine. He asked for money to sign those documents. I felt so much, I was so much annoyed. I said that never should I allow anybody to be subject to such. Omuntu okujja kusenga mubeera naye okusayininga empapula zaagala ki ayagala ssente. Ate ekirala kye nayiga era mugundu wano bwe nabeera mu local authority nga singa na bannayuganda oli n'asooka okujja nga tayagala kugamba nti okumanya. I was used to go there places ne mbagamba nalaba amannya gaabwe nga nforcinga pre-inspection ogenda okulaba ennyumba zaabwe nenkola ebintu ne bajja oli najja bamuzana tayagala nakumanya toli muki munnayuganda ebinamukoleranga ne batandika okukola ki okugira nga baagala ogenda memba gaabwe ngaera nga mpa abantu advice about that. Bwe nagenda mu local authority ndaba nga bwe twali mugundi ng'abagobwa abantu much of those were blacks wagenda ku hearing ojja kusinga na much of the time by losing a case nengamba nti well, let me go to the union. I become an activist union member, very powerful. Whenever there was any hearing nga ngenda kuba representing
Issa Makundi, I'm sorry, allow me, just because I notice with the history, Joanna, it's too detailed, but I've learned one thing that I find very, very interesting in the conversation tonight from your submission. Something about community, Vanga, whatever Hajat Sarah, Weyaja, KCA, the troubles she went through. You know, again, no reporting and no Mutuami Ambi, near the home office, Hawakaya Dara, Jari, Tunuja Sowedi, and then yours now comes in actually to sort of paint another side that within the diaspora itself, helping the community here, getting people that needed to sort of get off their feet. That is a very, very important step, and you've been very critical. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you for the efforts at them, especially within the community, establishing those, being part of those groups that actually became very instrumental in establishing the base upon which many of us now have come to thrive. I'll only stop it there because I just like to bring in a few more people so that we hear a few more testimonies on people's celebration tonight. Remember, we are celebrating the diaspora. Nkuba Kyeyos, tumenyese nnyo, tukoze bingi, tulabye bingi. In the end of it, omuntu akulaba gy'akulaba tamanyi wajjoyise okusobola okujja okubituukamu. And tonight, we want to celebrate you. Everyone that is on tonight, we are celebrating you in particular. I would just like to get a lady now so that we can, well, probably keep it sweet and short so that covering a lot more ground, just to hear your stories, because some people are shy, but I'm sure now the chat room has been very quiet. It looks like Engineer Makumbi Yawakutomba Viromwena. Why don't I bring in Navachara Hajati Sheikh Radhia? We go a long way. And Shebuko, I'm very happy that you're on here. Whatever the Navade Nkugeya, I was talking about how I arrived in this country, how I came, and we were sharing this small bed with Yunga Vantwaru, as I said, be home of it. It's good to have you on here. It will be interesting just to hear just your bit of the story, just in terms of Chichiche Wenyumirizam, Muk celebrating diaspora. And the reason we are saying this is in 2014, Ugandans in the diaspora, contributions, the remittances, the money that we sent back home exceeded for the first time the money that was coming from Uganda's biggest cash export, which was coffee. Money from remittances, the money that people were sending back home. And since then, a lot more money has been sent. Ezigenda mu community, ezigenda mu projects ezaffe, ezigenda mu batulimba, ezigenda mu bewairiza ebitaliyo, and it all happens. But one thing that one person that I also find a lot of pride in, Isa Makumbi's story, you've had it, very powerful just in terms of how he's been part of that changing the mindset of Ugandans. Tuve mu mbere y'okuba abeere n'akatabo mu post office empapuro gendo zikoreremu naye nga amanye ekiyingira nga gw'osigaza kaadi y'osobola okuba nti ogifuna. We've had cases of where, for example, that Sarah, you work and then at the end of the week someone doesn't pay you your money. But one person that I also find very, very interesting, whose story I would like you to hear tonight on 75W Radio and on Ummah Connected, is Sheikh Radhia. Sheikh Radhia, we go back a long time. She's one of the people that I went to school with in primary school, very briefly in Katwe, and then I left to move to Kenya. Then we came back to meet in secondary school, so we were together the whole of the secondary school, ended up in university together, ended up doing the same courses at university, and then guess what? We ended up in Europe, in UK, together. So, but hers is one very interesting story, and because the stories seem to be long, and with a lot of style and trick to them. Radhia's story is also a different one. She's one of the many people probably that you probably know more than I do, who has managed to bring so many of her relatives into here, but also make a lot of difference back home. Why should I actually not let her tell her own story? Radhia, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
When you mean because you've been one of those people, and celebrating Nkuba Kyeyos. Today is our day, and that's why I plead with you. Probably you're shy. Please, when you come, bust out.
I'm not shy, but I can't. I'm not shy.
Not you,
but
but
you know I came from
the audience. I'm just saying to the audience, because you missed Hajat Sarah. Hajat Sarah Simakura's submission. It was just brilliant. It just opened the ice, it broke the ice in the conversation. But why not give you the chance? We are celebrating Nkuba Kyeyos. Nkakaso inachi wenyumirizamu mukujja. Naddala ekyo ekirimu okutuuka aye nawe n'oleeta ababo.
Oh yes. Yeah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Subhanallah. I came in the UK in 1999. It was not really. It was the month of March, if I could remember, on 7th. By the way, I came exactly on your wedding day because I missed your wedding day.
Oh, Allahu Akbar. Okay.
Yeah, it was your wedding day, and then I had to fly. So my main this was to come here only for 6 months, but all in all, I was given given a visa of 1 month.
Yes.
1 month. And I was expected to go back home because I was a teacher and I was teaching in Kawempe Muslim.
All right. Are there 1 month visas? I thought they were like 6 months visas.
Yes, but mine was only for 1 month. Everybody whom I showed my visa was saying, oh, why was you given only 1 month? It was because of the story I gave in.
Right.
Yeah. So I managed to penetrate here, and whoever I showed, it was one guy was called Mr. Katende, but I don't remember his name, but his brother was the one who died, the doctor, whatever, Yadi Bank of Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he had some children at IUIU. At first, I wanted to go to Denmark, and I took my passport to Danish embassy. Now, all of a sudden, Mr. Makumbi, who died, the brother of Sheikh Mukwaya, told me, oh, no, don't go over there. You go to UK. When we find you there, we shall be able to help you, because me, I've been in Sweden, but Sweden is not good. And when you say that you are going to Denmark, you have to learn the language. So I changed. And don't forget that I had already given my passport to the Danish embassy. It was accompanied with the Hajat Sarah, that Sarah who was the wife of that guy who was he was working in the Bank of Saudi Arabia. So they had read books. And then she said, oh, let us accompany, let your passport be with mine. But when they talked about UK, I said, let me get back my passport, and I go to UK embassy. Now I removed the passports. In 1 day, I arranged all my things because I was working in a certain office, and I was a teacher as well. So I just managed to do my papers or my paperwork. And then I had to give it in. Within a day, I had got my visa, and I was supposed to fly there and then. So I flew the country out of the country, and then I came here. It was really freezing. Janti had promised to pick me from the airport, and I came with big money, and it was 50 knot, you can imagine. And then I got a Nigerian guy asking me, where are you going? They were cabmen. I didn't know. Where do you want to go? I said, I don't. So I had, I had my small paper which I had put in my binder, and then I had to get it out of there because it's the one which had the address and the phone number. And then all of a sudden, where are you going? I said, Stratford. Stratford, do you have the number? I said, yes, I do have the number. Then when they called my sister, she said, oh, no. Let him not take you. I'm coming to pick you. So I stayed at the airport by thinking they're going to take me back. You can imagine she took like 1 hour to come at the airport. And then all of a sudden, she came, she picked me, she helped me, everything, as you know, to give you everything. I started working in a fish factory. It was so cold. Can you imagine? I came with my high heels shoes. I ended up going with them in a fish factory. Everyone was looking at me. And you remember, whenever you could go, they give you the job there and then.
Yes.
I went to ask for the job. They told me, no, you can join the line.
You can start now.
I started joining the line. But after that, I got out of the place when I was shivering. And I remember when I went out, it was the Hajat Sarah Sebaduka. She saw me and she said, "Oh, as you are freezing, why? And let me, where do you live?" I told her, "I'm living at Tollgate Road." And then she said, "Okay, let me help you to take you home." When I arrived home, the people whom I met, they started laughing at me. They just got a fan of me because I was shivering. And then so to me, the first week I got the money, it was like 104 pounds. And then I said, "Oh my God, how much is this money?" They said, "How much was it?" I don't remember. Like, I said, "Oh, this is good money. I can't wait to bring my brother because I left my brother in the army. I had to bring him." Then when I called home, I asked, where's Becca? They said, "Becca is at work." I said, "I want him. I want to talk to him." And then when I got him, he said, I told him, "Can you come this way? Can you imagine how much money I've got?" "Yes, you have to come." "What am I going to do?" "Use my papers." Now I said, "Okay." He said, "I don't know how I'm going to go through it." I told him, "You just change the names. Change the names and then do like this." So when I asked him, "So now what are you doing?" He said, "No, even Kalanzi, whom I was working with, he's been shot dead yesterday." I said, "He shot dead? I have to bring you." Then within 1 month or 2 months, I had brought my brother.
Wow.
And don't forget that in the house where I was living, they were there, but they were 2-3 people, but it took ages for them to bring someone in the country. So to me, I break the camel's back to bring someone within 2 months.
That's
and
record.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine, Sheikh Kayira? I brought someone, but I was still under someone's rule. So there and then they told me,
Now
find somewhere to sleep. You have to go. So I said, where am I going to go? And Becca is coming on 21st of July. And I was here in March. July, I'm bringing someone. Where am I going to take him? Even at the airport, I don't know how to pick him from the airport. It was a certain guy called the Abe Twamlabirao. He told me, you don't know the airport? I said, I don't know. Do you have money? I have money. I had to give him some money. And then he said, okay, don't worry now. We shall go to the airport. I will direct you. Then he's the one who helped me, because even I couldn't know how I could pick my brother from the airport. Because it was a few months when I had just come, I couldn't just connect where the airport is.
Yeah.
And then I brought him. When I brought him, Becca started, and he told me, you know me, even if it means to lift an engine of the car out of it, I can do that. So I took him where I was working. No. Before I took him, I was planning, where am I going to put him? They've already chased us out of where I was living. Yeah. And I had bought a new mattress, and someone told me, you have to go with your mattress. So I had to go to my in-laws. They were living here. And then, do you know what I did? I had to pick my mattress. I'm already bus. With my brother, and I know we going to be this bag, black.
The Ghana must go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the guy said, hey, what's wrong with you? Where are you going? I said, we're just going to Forest Gate. He said, no, move out, get a cab. So I don't know even what is a cab, what it means. It was quite very short time because I couldn't connect everything. And then I told Becca, but Becca, do you know, let us lose the mattress. He said, oh my God, I take a thing and I have a mattress. We don't want to lose anything. So And it is night. Not until I had to call my in-laws, they said, okay, stay where you want, we come and pick you. So I was going with the mattress. So don't forget that he told me that he can do anything as regards to lift up an engine. And then I took him where I was working. But before I took him, he had no papers. And I was working at the second job in Gants Hill at the Jews, whatever. So one time I was just standing on the bus stop. I was in a an ocean of thoughts. Where am I going to get the papers for my brother? I don't know anybody. I don't know anyone. Yes, I know, but they don't. They are not ready to give me the papers. Those were the Ugandans, because I tried some men to give me some papers, but they never gave me the papers. So one time I was just standing on the Chituicha bus, and then there's a certain guy. He saw me and he asked me, what are you thinking of? He really saw me that I was thinking a lot.
Yes.
And he asked me, do you know Swahili? I said, yes, I do. Hey, mbona unafikiria sana? Nikamwambia, nafikiria kwa ajili na shida, that I have problems. He said, what problems do you have? I said, you know, I brought my brother, blah, 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 ABCD. I want papers. You know what the guy did? He was coming from Kenya, and I praise Kenyans. He just got me an NI card, and he gave it to me, and he told me, jina lako ni nani? Nikamwambia mimi naitwa Radhia. Ichukue, akipata kazi, nirudishie hapa kwa kituo cha basi. So I did take it, and then my brother got a job. I photocopied the national insurance, and then the following day he told me, I'll give you my papers of what? Of indefinite. So he brought the papers, and I thought he's lying. He brought to me the papers. He was called Edward Kabetu. And that was my brother.
Radhia, kateke mu Luganda.
Kaliwa.
Nti kateke mu Luganda ako tewa watu ulirane banoonya Kabeti.
Na ye, yes. He managed to give me the papers. Na zimpa, na agenda, na mala, na ye yaddayo yagenda de wawe yaddayo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yaddayo. Na yenga, he helped me a lot. He gave me the papers. My brother started working. Within a few months, he got his papers as well, and he started working. And again, nasobola okuleta my other brother, na ye nemuleta, nemumala, nendeta my other brother, Sheikh Nsereko, nemumala, nendeta my brother, the brothers of my mom. So in general, I brought 16 people.
Allahu Akbar. Yeah, that's a record, and it was interesting that I'm sure whoever Ainaka Sajja Kumutima Kati is listening in.
Yeah, I brought 16 brothers, and that's why we are men here. So me, what I urge people, because all of them, they had children, they had to help each other. So singa nagamba nti nze nsize in UK, ngenda kusigala nga nze ndi nzekka, nze njobawereza sente. I wouldn't have managed it, because now one has, Becca has 16 children. Yes. How could I manage? Busura has 8. How could I manage? So all my brothers, I brought them, and I brought the brothers of my mom. They were also here. Some went back, some went to America, but it was me, and now we are here. I don't know how the number of us. Naye tulibanjiko, naye it was because of me. Naye Edward Kabet helped me a lot, and the person who brought me in this country also did a lot. We also managed to do some other things at home. We are helping people. It's like a charity. I used to I just give them for free. For free.
As a thank you to God for
exactly. And even here, I'm trying to do charity in giving sadaka. Whenever I go to the mosque, although that the Thanksgiving and never Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chichiche yatukolera omulimo mulungi. My family wasn't okay, but it was me who lifted it up.
Yeah.
My dad was a taxi driver. Hey, ngakola mu taxi driver. My brothers were in the army. Kakati awo tolaba nti omuntu tulina okupraisinga so much naye sofa kakati tukoyera naffe abaana ndowooza era tujja balekayo ate tumale tuddeyo ekweka tulina okuddayo kubanga simanyi nti tunaakaddigira wano Kayira munange tulina okuddayo.
No, Radhia, I'm very proud, and I'm sure whoever is listening, Omanyi, some of these conversations, you know, when we have the difference with this program is a lot of the things that people discuss here, I don't think someone is just so busting out and they are coming out to show off. It's these stories that make a difference. Real life also is part and parcel of that package. Full package. But we come and have these conversations. Now, listening to Radhia's story, listening to Isa Makumbi's story, listening to Sowedi's story, Hajat Sarah's story, immediately I'm sure it is painting a picture. Then you know where to look. Everyone has had someone that they have helped in one way or another. And that is definitely something. Radhia, as I let you go, these are conversations in that I thank you very much. All I can say is, when you get the taxi, by the time he died, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recalled him, he was an absolutely happy man, already running a big company at One Travel,
Really, yeah.
something that you went and started and established that brought in so many cars, so many taxis. It became just something very normal. So your dad died. Your mother passed away, I think last year, if I'm not wrong. And by the time Hajati died, she died a very, very happy woman. She said, Radhia yo sina chenyiza kumwogerako, she has done us proud. And I think you can sit back and just feel that your years of struggle, the many years that you've thrown in here, have really paid off. Thank you very, very much. I'll just run now and go to the Netherlands, where Sheikh Nasakabi is. Nasakabi is another person that I know from the past, many years as well. And happy that you made the time part of this conversation. You are the only one who is in the Netherlands. I think you went to the Netherlands in 2002, if I'm right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Nasakab. Hello, Nasakab. You have broken off for prayer. Hello, Nasakab. Okay, while he's coming in, I'll try and find another. Is Imam? I think I saw Imam somewhere here. Many people are disappearing as someone is getting to the close. Sheikh Buko, is he there? I think I saw him there. Sheikh Buko, can you unmute yourself, please? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think I'll try to balance it. We get a lady, we get a man, and we go through the story. So, barakallahu fikum. Very nice to have you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.
Thank you very much for joining your program. Come, let's talk with me, Kassim, Kayira. It's
Very,
7 minutes past 10 o'clock.
Really, very, very interesting. In Jones, artificial intelligence, which weapon is of which the future weapon is of battle will be artificial intelligence.
Well, I'm sure Bojawana take distressing. It's much more until you are stress go kilograms wera tano.
Okuveda nedda nayagalanga documentaries na ddala factual documentaries na ye zindeka nebaka maze kusala subuhi ndyoka ndo. Anyway,
yes.
Very, very interesting. Thank you for bringing all those people to on board, and at least we are learning a lot from each other. Unfortunately, navuddeo konga ngendo okusala Haji Makumbi yabadde na very, very interesting stories yabadde telling yadde saloginze off, but I was a little bit up and down. Nayenga sofa bimpuliriza naddala mwanyina Hajjati Radhia Allahu akbar, masha Allah, mabruk. Ajati ralu yatwangadde naye emyaka miyitirivu naye story okuyiga tekuggwayo story ze eza family ezo bonna byaleeta ate mbadde kyekintu kitubadde tutanyumyangako. So I found it very, very, very interesting, and it's a fact because byonna bimumanyiko Hajjati Rawiya wallahi Mungu ya blessing omukyalo oyo n'amuwa n'amumalirako era y'ensonga ndowooza lwaki ate naye yennyini amuyambye okuba ng'akola byonna by'akoze
n'asobola kati Hajjati Rawiya ye mwogereko mpora kubanga naawe olina ebibyo byennyini byoyogerako. And well, the reason I'm saying this is
mine will be brief anyway. I'll be a little bit brief.
Yes.
Nyenzo obutagenda into details kwogera buli kimu kyonna. Naye for me najja wano nga saakera nkya kuteekinga nniya nti ngenda kubeera Bungereza. Nva Uganda nga ngenda mu States nga n'omulimu weeguli buli kimu kyonna nga kiri ready waiting for me. Kuba gye nayina contact nga bw'ogambye nti oluusi contacts zitupuling over. Nayinayo my brother nga amaze okundiira mu buli kimu. Everything was in place okubanga nali ngenda genda nga ntandika butandisi kukola kuba era ne Kampala buginava nali nyina omulimu nga by then ntusubula Kenya, Eldoret, Nakuru, Nairobi nga sikola bubi era buli muntu gunagamba nti nyenze bweru ngagamba oli mulalu gwe. Anyway, it's a thing that I came to regret because one of my uncle abali fluent mugundi abali prominent mu Kampala yangamba buko wakola nangabu nakugamba wakola ensobi nene nnyo olwaleero singa goyina one of the arcades mu Kampala streets. Kwa by then ngendo okujja najja n'emitwalo egitaka mu 7 eja dollar eja pound jali ja dollars, not pound, but they were in dollars. Nanga ate nga zaali zange nangamba nti ku ssente ezo wali okozesa by then mu 2001 singa wali osigadde wano ne ku nkola gye yali amanyiimu kubanga tukyasoma nga nkola nga nsuubula n'emirimu nga gitambula bulungi olwaleero wali badde oli wala nnyo, which turned up to be true. And anyway, without looking that back, when I came nayinamu contact yange abali badde family yange, they were the OBs. Haji Kasoma, Mukhtar, n'abalala Sheikh Jamal, n'abalala Yahya Bulwadda, bebamu abantu bitwali twamitinganga ku masomero ku mahadi nojanga yeze contact zoyina
when the program was starting.
Yes,
as Bilal, we almost the whole school the headmaster Shabu Bakar was here. Almost an entire school is here. Go ahead, please.
Exactly. Yes. So I came here. I was about to the day 9/11. I was leaving at around 11. Twali tusimbula sawa 5 ngenyonye sawa 9 ngagenda okumpiki ngagenda kujja sawa 4 ziba ziri mu sawa 3 bankubira ngamba tekako TV genda ku TV olabye ekibaddewo omanyi what is happening nze bankubira nalooza nti bangamba genda kugula ka gate tulina ka gate twayitangamu emanju oli atuuse kumbe oli Jamalo ankubira ngamba tekako TV tekako TV olabye ekibaddewo ngenda okulaba ngundi nga kigenda bugenzi mu maaso ebyali mu America ebya 9/11 nga bicha happening nga biri live. Kacyawo olugendo lwali lugendo okugenda buli kimu bakikansolinze buli kinyonyi zonna bazikansolinze kyekyali ekibatugamba nti tulindemu ennaku 2 nezifuuka ewiiki nefuuka 2 nezifuuka omwezi ngenda okumaliriza nga ebintu biganye nga Mungu ankwatidde wano nesobola kweyongerayo mu America ningenda mu comfort zone wano naye saasanga nnyo buzibu kuba nga bwe nkugambye twalina nayina my hobbies from back home.
Yeah.
We could be at number 3. We used to call it number satu. Hanziro West. Abasinga ababadde wano emyaka egyo gyonna yali esenta ekuŋŋaanyizo z'Abannayuganda nga buli muntu yenna yakajja talina wasula, everyone ebeera open 24/7 basaawa 7 basaawa mmeka nga it's a center for all the Ugandans for a long time in early 2000. Kati butwabeeranga awo n'otandika n'okola ng'ogamba nja genda ng'era nga butuganga
ojja genda ogenda wa
ng'ogamba nti ogenda kuddayo kuba twajja wano ng'olina tageti ya mwaka gumu oba ebiri. Mwaka gumu, in fact nze yange yali ya mwaka naye ogenda okumaliriza ate tiyali naye wano kuba yali yeeri. Ogenda okumaliriza nga really you have come here to stay. Kimu kiridinga to another one to another. So celebrating my being here, ngojeko gamba nti family yange yali egenda okunzizaayo nali missing a lot. But the most important one was nti kinsobola celebrating. I would managing kubeera like nga oba able nga jati Raluya chiakola, but all my contributions has been back home. Sina penny ginakola okujjako nga buli pay ya buli wiiki yagwangayo. Sina ginalina eriridde nzekka okujjako nga nsharinze n'abantu bange baako okuva lunagi. Nga buli kasente kinkola, either you save it towards that, or more than that anyway, or even you send it towards that. Be it education, be it the no kubafiridwa, be it imbaga, be it mirimo, be it everything, because in the mu family yaffe naweerera kuba natandika okwerera abaana b'abakulu bange n'abalala nga nange nkyasoma. When I was still studying, I was paying for school fees for others. So when I came here, it was, I could do, and buli muntu yena yamanyanga nti ali mu struggle ya school fees nga they could come to me. Oba bakukyalo, oba friend of friends, oba chi, nga I help out a lot. Yes, to some extent, obutabeera selfish kiyina engeri gye kikwaffectingamu ne byonna byansi byakuleka oddayo n'obyebaliza Mukama Katonda when you look back and I was able to do this. Regardless, nyinza okubanga ku bantu binaaka bimpeeredde naddala ne bafuna ne qualifications bawera 20 plus. Jukira omuntu gw'osomesezza from nursery, primary, secondary, mpaka university, to certain extent n'esente ezigula omulimo nga gw'ogenda ogugula obuguzi. Emirimu gye Uganda nakyo gyakyuka nga bw'oba toguguze totaddemu sente oluusi togufuna because of the competition. So in terms of on the reflection, in terms of looking back, celebrating my being in diaspora, and I've created a job and a job empire for my people. Up to now, challenges, I would not call them problems, and I had to be around them because they don't know what we are going through. Tibamanyi what you are going through. But almost I relocated Kampala nibadde Mbarara. But from Mbarara back to Kampala, I almost relocated all my family from Mbarara back to Kampala. Cut us off working in my business empire. And all of them that in construction companies. They've got their own machineries and business that are doing very, very well. So looking back, the difference I've made to all that families, not only the family, but in Abana, Bokchalo, our extended family, all of those ones, you sent Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. They may not be able to do exactly what I did to them, but at least I did them and I uplifted them from where they were. Katonda singa tiyampisizaamu nga kwe kusaasira kwe oluusi twali badde tukyali mbalala ne famire yange abasinga naye right now being in Kampala abamu ate ne beeyongerayo n'okugenda okozesa zino gundi eziriwo ebyekyeyo Dubai weya ne batambula ensi naye nga at the moment I really appreciate my being here because comparing other brothers of mine nti a difference jekola nti bwojja wano yagala to change the world. Most of the people, when you come to Europe, you want to change, you believe that you could change the world. So whatever you do it when you think you can make a difference. You become a shock absorber for everything. Be it happiness, be it in times of difficulty, be it what they beat everything. Beat Bubanga tibanda bakubira bali ku kyalo kasita omuntu afa mu family. The first consideration ebeera yunadala gyokoma okuba nti oyanguyira abantu ate gibakoma oba nkiyite taking advantage. Yes. So that's
Thank
what
you
I
very much, Buko. Very much appreciated. And actually, it's quite interesting to hear stories of these different people. Everyone is coming with a different aspect to this conversation, and that I think is empowering it. We are not repeating ourselves. We find everyone is having something that they are adding to the conversation tonight. We are celebrating you, Nkuba Kyeyos, for everything that you have done. Stella, I come to you. You say you came in the United Kingdom in 1996 as a foreign student with a 4-year target. 27 years on, you are still here. Good evening, Stella.
Sheikh. You pick on me a lot, Sheikh.
What happened? The handbrake seems to be 27 years is a lifetime. You were meant to be here for 4 years. What happened? What went wrong?
Now, after those 4 years, I went back in 2000. Auntie had now got my degree. I came to study. At the time when I came in 96, I hadn't made it to Makerere. So so many of my colleagues who hadn't made it were flying to India. But my dad had been to India and he didn't like the experience. So he said, no, I'll not take you to India. You go to the UK. Yeah, so those days we didn't have as many universities as you see in Uganda these days. Most of them, I think, were colleges of commerce. I think there was Nkumba College of Commerce, which is now a university. I think there was Chambogo, which is now a uni. So if you didn't make it to Makerere or whatever, it was tough. So those who had money, most of them went to India. And then Dad said, you'll go to the UK. So that's how I came. Came as a foreign student. I came to do my degree, first of all, a diploma, a 2-year one, and then a higher national diploma, then moved on to the direct entry to the degree, which was 2 years, Brighton University. So finished in 2000, and I was scheduled. I went back actually after, like I said, when I went back, everyone said, what's wrong with you? Why have you come back? You have a student visa, people are struggling to go there, you're the one coming back. And everywhere I went, everyone was saying I had to change. George was saying there's something not right. And then I said, let me just go back. Let me fly back because they're the ones who know this place. I've been away for 4 years. They know how things have changed. So I came back. At that time, there was a college in near London Bridge, Emil Wolf. Yes. It was bringing so many students for ACCA. So I reapplied there and I got the student visa again for that one. And since then, I've been around.
Now, looking back at that decision to come back, especially when you thought you were going back, the program actually has run over. We have 7 minutes to the end of the program because we're supposed to come out at 10. But the interesting bits now is we can't leave people's stories untold. So if you look back to the 27 years and that decision to come back, how does it make you feel? What difference have you made? And then we'll. Off the back of you will go to Netherlands. It looks like the line is open now. Yes.
Well, for me, I'm lucky that most of my family are, I would say, well-to-do.
Right.
But so that has limited how many people I've helped. But I did help a brother to come over.
Mm-hmm.
But he could have come, really. He didn't really need me, but I was just the go-between. I helped a cousin, a distant cousin, to come over for nursing. I've helped very few. But like I said, because of the background I'm from, I helped one OB to come as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I heard he lives somewhere in Sydenham now. So yeah, I think I made the right decision to stay. Yes, but not as impressive as the stories I've heard of.
The stories you've heard, which I think
the last
value
gentleman,
to that.
the
But
lady
in terms of celebration, then
Stella. Oyo Stella wa Kororo tabamalira busera. Oyo wa Kororo. Oyo yali Kororo kati oyo tategeera.
Yes, so
but
maybe
Stella, in terms of celebration,
Gisunze yamusomeseza wa ne London.
Yes, we do kalimba da. Na nezanga na aluma nyange ndugani kabulai. So yes, so I have not helped, like the lady who was 6, she brought 16 people. That's very impressive.
Yes.
I know someone who came here in 1989. He left kids behind. He has not even brought them even to visit. And I was thinking, can you imagine him? She made me think about so many people that I know who are here, who could have helped and have refused to help.
But Stella, the thing I've noticed is as well, there are people who it's not out of bad intent. It's not like someone doesn't want to help, but some people are not as sharp as others. You see, Radhia arrives in this country 2 months. She's already made a move that is bringing a brother. 2 months, you know, it's just unbelievable. There are people who are just quick to sort of think of.
There are people who had access to Radhia, who Radhia told those stories. And she could have given them the advice, and they didn't want to know. And there are some she told, and they listened to her, and they helped people. You know?
Absolutely. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, yeah. So that's my story, Sheikh. I'm so unfortunately it's not as brilliant.
Thank you very much, Stella.
No,
thank you very, very much. Much appreciated. Let me go to the Netherlands to Sheikh Nasakab, and probably, unless it's burning, I think we'll try to see if we can fit in another 2 quick short ones. Sheikh Nasakab, I think you are available now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sheikh Nasakab. Oh, he had unmuted himself. Now he's disappeared again. I'll bring in another lady. Nasakab, are you there by any chance? No? Okay. Yeah, I'll move in. I'll move ahead. We've had Stella. So Isa Makumbi says, in life, you should offer support to individuals to help them crossing the bridges. The help offered will make the nation much safer. The more people you help, actually, you realize just how much of a difference you can make to the people that you relate with. The people that you bring in, anybody that you bring in makes a big, big difference. And you never know. The one person that you bring might be that person that becomes a stepping stone for others to be able to benefit. Bint Idris, you are there. I'll just try to bring in at least 2 short ones as we get to the end of the program. Bint Idris, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, Bint Idris. Quiet. Okay, I'll check. Anisa. Hello, Anisa. Anisa, assalamu alaikum. Oh, people are getting shy now. Sometimes you think your story is not big after you've listened to other people's stories, which I don't think is right. Everyone has a story, and it's interesting how much you have there. Mariam, I come to you. Mariam, assalamu alaikum. Oh, gone into silent mode now. Hello, Mariam. Yeah, Rabbi, it's gone quiet. I'll go to B. Kaima. I need to get one more story in at least before we call it a night. B. Kaima, you're one of the first people into the conversation this night. I'm hoping you might be able just to share, having listened to what you had in the program tonight. B. Kaima, are you able to speak? If you're unable to speak, just drop us a message in the chat room. Probably you may be at work. B. Kaima is coming. Assalamu alaikum. Naam, nyaw. Hey, okay.
Nti bonna ba brothers bange tewaliwo omwana waabwe atalina linnya lyange. I think you can witness that.
Bonna batwala linnya kati B. Kaima togenda. I can see you unmuted. Barakallah. Radhia bonna
buli omu ayinayo omwana omu gwe yaneeminga erinnya lyange naye not through because nti obamba forcings.
Yes.
Buli omu ndowooza yasinziiranga ku kyemba nkoze.
Allah. Kati Ravia kugamba erinnya ligaziye bugaziye kati ne bwofa oba tunayagala.
Exactly, everyone has it. Even some of the friends wano olaba bwe najja ne nyamba ajati Nubbe. Ajati Nubbe ya managing mwana we bwe yazaala n'amugamba omwana bamutume Radhia.
Allah.
So it's good to give hands banaye bw'oyamba omuntu ne Allah akusaasira n'akuyamba. However ayinza obutakuyamba nnyo kubeera nti oba gw'olaba nti olina kyamaanyi naye I think even on the day of judgment it is there, and even to help others, it's to bring someone's joy n'olaba nti omuntu alinako essanyu ku matama. It's really very
that
good.
makes a huge difference. Yes. Barakallahu fikum Radhia. Bikaima nzize gy'oli. Bikaima, assalamu alaikum. Hello. Wa alaikum salam. Line yunge kankana. Your line is not.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Network is not very good around here.
Yes, but it's getting better, I think.
Yes,
the more you spoke, the better it got. Yes, I'm sure you have listened into tonight's conversation with the previous speakers. We are celebrating Nkuba Kyeyos. Probably maybe what is there to celebrate for yourself? What would you say you're celebrating?
Esebo nze mukujja naye lwakubeera nti nosasookera wano ate era ne Uganda navaayo namala kufiirwa mukulu wange eyali ankwata ku mukono. Kati it was one day lwali lwa Sunday sigenda dwerabira nali ne basebugazi mu ddiiro ne ngamba nteeka okuva wano kubanga nali so depressed olw'okuba nali nfiiriddwa. Kati
yali akuyamba yali bweru oba yali Uganda?
Yali Uganda.
All right.
Yali mukulu wange.
Yes.
Naye yali nga tanyamba financially naye nga nyamba mu bintu by'okumwebuuzaako. Buli kye nabanga ngenda okukola nga nina okusooka omwebuuzaako. Kati bwe yava mu nsi ne ndaba ng'ensi enzirugalidde. Nga ne ngamba kati nina okuva wano. Nalina cousin wange e Germany ne sister wange. Ne contactinga sister wange n'alabanga bizibu. Ne contactinga cousin wange n'angamba gw'ate alina tiketi yo jangu. Ne nkwata kubona ngende Germany naye nga nina visa ya myezi 3. Naye ng'ate olina okusigala okumakinga sure osigalayo. Mukama n'annyamba nenfuna omuntu anneeyimiririra. Nali sinaba kumalako myezi 3 nenfuna wano gye tuyita indefinite. Awo obulamu ne butambula bulungi. Kati bwe twabeeranga e Germany eyo nga batugamba ate England kiyitirivu nti wano temulina na bye mukola nti naye ssente ziri e England. De ngamba katika ono mugezi akola ki agenda England. Nengezaako okusaba visa okuva e Germany nzije butereevu wano. Naye ne bizibuwalamu. Ne ngenda ne baŋŋamba nti nina okukola ki. Ne baginnyima. Ne nziramu ne nsaba nga nzize kukyalako obukyazi wano. Ne bampa kubanga nalina muwala wange ng'ali 5/4 by then naye nali mulekayo Germany. Kati awo ne bampa visa nga njagala kusooka kujja wano kulaba bitambula bitya.
Yes.
Natuuka ku airport ne bakubira omuntu gwe nabagamba nti gwe nali nkoze ki gwe nali nza okukyala. Ne baŋŋamba kale naye passport yange bagindesa ku airport. Bampa 2 weeks. Ne mmalawo ennaku ndowooza 9 ne nzirayo. Ne kati okudda wano nga njagala kudda ne nkwata ekkubo n'enzirayo e Uganda ate ne nsaba buto okujja wano ne bannyima awo ne nsala amagezi ne nkyusa bye nalina okukyusa ate ne nzirayo ne nsaba ne bampa bwe nayingira wano already nga tebamanyi nayingira wano I was lucky olwokuba nalina omuntu gwe nali manyiwo ebintu ne byantambulira bulungi era saafunako obuzibu empapula zange zayanguwa myezi 6 nali maze okufuna buli kimu ne ntandika okukola
wajjoyina wakadde kewaligalirako oba engeri gye wali ofiiridde owe Uganda yali akuyamba wali ozze ng'oweddeyo
obuziza otya
badde mbuuza nti wajja nti waliwo abajja nga bajjidde ku myezi 6 baddeyo n'omwaka gumu okakana nga bali mu myaka 27 bakyalaali
nedda mukujja najjira ku myezi 6 mukujja najjira ku myezi 6
nedda ngamba wayinza okujja nga visa ya myezi 6 naye mu mutima nga gyali myezi 6 oba emitima gyali gyasigala
nali nzize kusigala
okay. Omazeewo emeka
najja kubanga e Germany nagenda that was 1992 nemalayo nenvayo mu 96 nenzija wano mu 97 kati gy'emyaka egyo up to now
handbrake wasibira dda
naye nga mukujja naleeta brother wange kale bwe tutyo bwe tubadde tukwatagana okuyamba eka so what I celebrate naleeta brother wange and he is doing well wanje
nje mbali ngenda okubuuza nti kiki wenyumirizaamu anti tuli mu celebrating kati celebrating ekyeyo kino osobodde okwenaazaako ennaku weekubyeko enfuufu otambula oli munywevu
nasobola okuleeta brother wange ekyenyumirizaamu nnyo kubanga naye akoze omulimu munene okuyamba abeeka tusobola okukola kinsomeseza nasomesa abaana ba sister wange oli eyafa bonna bakuze abamu batambudde bagenze mu Amerika so bwekityo bwe kirisebo
Amin. Barakallahu fikum. Mariam says, I helped my brother. He didn't stay because he was working as bank work, but he couldn't cope with Cheyo. He went back to Uganda. Understandable. Stella, it looks like there was something burning that you didn't get to say.
Yes. Now, there was something, you know, when you said that some are not sharp.
Yes.
And that was a good point you made, because one of my brothers who I brought in 2000, sorry, I call him my brother because he's a cousin, but I call him my brother. He's a distant cousin. It's because I overheard a conversation which had nothing to do with me. I'd gone to visit in North London. I'd gone to visit my uncle and I had people talking about how nurses are coming here and midwives, and they don't have to pay a penny. I caught the train back to Brighton, and the following day I was on the phone to about 2 universities, and they gave me advice, and that's how he came. So I just wanted to bring that out, that he came just by luck in a way, because I overheard a conversation of how people could come to study nursing. So, and he's still here, 24 years later.
Thank you very much, Stella. Mariam, your hand is still up. Mariam, your mic is still open. You say, for me, I helped my nephew, and he went back around 6 years in Uganda because he wanted to show off to his friends. Mariam.
Yeah. Salamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Oli yaddayo genda
munampulira ndi Uganda.
Tukuwulira bulungi.
Okay, that's good. Nze my experience. Nyinza okuginyumya n'ensula nawo.
Osulawo.
Nze najja bwe najja nze n'agamba nti nze wano siyinza na kuspendingawo myezi 2. Sisobola. Ne ngamba buno budde obunyogoga we musula wafunda ffe we twajjira batuteeka mu hostel ngamba nze sisobola nokumalawo na myezi 6 nina okugenda naye I can't believe it nti nkyaliyo.
Emyaka emeka?
Emyaka ntuza najja mu 99. Naye story gye ninamu yokka esinga okunsanyusa esinga okuneewuunyisa si kunsanyusa naye eneewuunyisa. Naleeta oyo my nephew wange n'atandika okukola era ebyo n'atandika okukolakola kati tetulina mpapula naye nga twafuna home office yaffe eya Uganda gye twamugira ekipapula ne tukimuwa. Kati ye amanyi nti ali ku galanti ye yalinga amanyi nti ali ku galanti home office n'emuyoola ku mulimu n'akuba n'agamba kankubire bazadde bange eka nze ali ku galanti ndi mutuuze nga yalooza nti mutuuze n'akuba eka kankubire daddy wange bamuwadde essimu poliisi emuwadde essimu kubira kale bakubire ng'akubira daddy we nti bankutte kakati ki ekiddako mujje munnoneyo. Namugamba nti kale sooka olindeko katono tujja contactinga ki poliisi okukakana ngazeeyo nga bamututte Uganda. Kati nga ye tamanyi nti ffe tetuyina kuba ffe tetwamugulira ng'omuntu bw'aba yakajja yali yakajja myezi
yawaka yennyini
tetuyina yaffe yawaka. Kati bwe yaddayo Uganda n'agenda Uganda ze nasigaza akatabo ke yajjirako njukira ebiseera ebyo byali nti visa bakuwa ya myezi 6 nga yajjirako visa. Kati nenkasigaza wano kati nentuma omuntu waliwo omuntu yali agenda mangu e Uganda nenkamuwa nemugamba katwale n'addayo ku home office n'addayo ku embassy ne bamukoneramu visa endala. Ate olwo ebiseera ebyo nti eno dikito gundi yali tennajja yaddayo kyokka eno bamudipootinze naye mu mwezi gumu ne baddamu ne bamuwa visa ku embassy n'alinya najja n'akomawo. Bw'akomawo kuba yali muvuka muto myaka 20s n'agenda eyo n'akolera eyo Birmingham afunye omulimu mu supermarket bulabulabula. Kati n'asangayo ba students bavuga emmotoka student omanyi bo bali n'aganze sisobola kubeera wano nga sivuga mmotoka kanzireyo Uganda nange nsabe student. N'agamba mami nze ngenda kuddayo Uganda nsabe student visa. Ne mugamba don't togezesa mikisa gyo. N'agamba no nze nina mukisa olaba wano bandipootinga luli nenzirayo nfuna visa biki. Ne mugamba togezesa. N'agamba nze nina laaka biki n'addayo. Okuteekayo akatabo bamugamba jangu kanone ku internal affairs. Awe nakoma omuwuliza ne mugamba kiki ky'okoze mwana gwe. Ate bamuwa visa bamugamba jangu ono n'akatabo ku internal affairs n'asirika. Kati brother wange naye mu story wedde ne helpinga brother wange najja yali bambi akola mu Greenland jukirawo baji closingira najja. Bwe yajja musajja atunga ebyekyeyo tabiwuliranga nako oyimirire simanyi okutame simanyi biki nga tabiwuliranga nako kasooka abeera. N'aganze sisobola wano. Ne mugamba ojja kusobolawo kaba kati toyina choice. N'agamba sisobola. Yabeerawo emyezi 4 n'addayo. Ne mugamba ozeeyo nti kanzireyo n'addayo. Bwe yaddayo n'addamu n'asaba visa nga Kampala wa Kalogo n'addamu n'asaba visa ne bagimuwa n'ajja. N'akubawo emyaka 2 ng'era buli mwaka agamba n'akubawo emyezi nga 6 naga ngenda. Namugamba togenda omwaka ne guwera guba gutuuka mu gumu kitundu n'agamba nti nze wano nkooyeewo sibisobola. Sisobola kukola nze bino byakuyimirira simanyi byakusiba. N'addayo nakati yalemwa naye kati mu kiseera agamba singa nfuna visa naye nkomawo. Ne mugamba ng'okomawo
gwe yeegoba
yakulema.
Wallahi barakallahu fikum. Emboozi tuyinza okuteesa obudde ate ng'akadde twamaze dde okukayitamu. Abali mu studio mu byuma Isma Nakawere akulinze Ajati Hafsa awakeeyo nayo bakulinze bannaye mbeebazizza nnyo. It looks like we will need a part 2 ey'emboozi eno because given testimonies zino toyagala kupapya muntu oyagala omuntu akijje ekiri ku mutima. You want someone to really open up, and I thank you very much for those who have really come up with the stories. It's quite interesting. Hajati Mariam has spoken about something which happened to a brother of mine. My brother amanyidde embeera z'e Kampala ali mu binenenene byabeeramu yajja wano n'amala weeks 2 n'agamba abuliddwa gw'atuma n'alinnya nadde talaba gw'atuma e Kampala olutuuka e Kampala ng'engatto asooka azijjamu azitwala wa Cobra keeps the shoes nga yayambala lugabire nga yeetolera mu kibuga ayina abakafruits abakaleeta. The life in Kampala was way and this person could not stand. 2 weeks the person boarded and went. Ravi olabika olina akatale keeka nga tunasiibula bantu.
Keke soko olindeko.
Yes sir.
Kakati yali ayagala abantu bano batuma nti ndezera kino ndezera kiri.
Yamanyira embeera gy'alimu ayina kampuni eya security ayina kati kampuni etwala abantu ebweru yatuuka wano n'aŋŋamba talaba gw'atuma n'alinnya
abakozi bayagala.
amanyidde embeera ezirimu. You have everybody buli wewekyusiza olinako bamasuudi bo agenda okulaba talaba gw'atuma n'abuliddwa gw'entuma. Embeera eno sijja gisobola n'alinnya naddayo. 20 years later he's still in Kampala comfortable toyinza kumugjayo. Ajati Ravi olabika Usama wina akakoa akabani.
Nze kyengezaako okugamba abantu nti it's never late okubeera nga tubaako ne gwe tuyamba. Tuleme okubeera nti tubeera selfish to each other. Abantu abamu babeera bagamba nti nze natuuka wano nzo kwegamba nina ne mukwano gwange era ne bwe yafudde yamaliriza nga bamwokyezza omukyala twamusiŋŋaananga naye buli kiseera agamba nze nakoowa bannayuganda. Kati ni bwe yaleeta sisita we era Allah n'aleeta ajabu ne bamukwata ate era naye ne bamuzaayo. Kyokka naye bwe yafudde wano okuzuula ekiraamo kye ng'agamba mbu yaye bamwokye batereke evvu mu ccupa. Kati ebintu ebyo tuminze mba ndaba nti omuntu ali selfish to herself. Naye nze I celebrate my life oyo okubeera nti nange sente yange eringanga ya shekibukko nti nkoze nnyo sente wano naye most of my money has gone to my people and friends. Nyambye nnyo ba friends bange, nyambye nnyo aba family yange n'okubeera nti wano tweyimirizaawo ng'abantu. So nsaba abantu bannaye tubeere n'omutima mulungi oguyamba okukubiriza n'abalala. Omuntu okulabako n'agamba nti gundi oyo atuyambye kibulikika bulungi ddaani okugamba nti omuntu oyo ali selfish ewuwe tewagendwa. Wano waliwo we twajja omuntu sijja mwatuukiriza linnya naye baagamba omwami oyo yali muyivu nnyo naye waliwo omuntu eyatuukirawo brother we ddala yamubuuza ani akuwadde enamba yange n'amugamba nti taata gundi ye yagimpadde kaakati no gyagenda ogirobere wa taata gundi. Omusajja yamusibira ebweru munne n'amusibirawo Hollywood n'amusibira ebweru subhanallah n'amugoba. Kale kwegamba ogwo omutima abamu abantu balowooza nti bazze wano nti bw'ojja wano ensi ebe oba ogimaliriza naye muganda wange obeera togimaliriza. So nze ŋŋamba bakwano bange bonna baganda bange abasiraamu n'abatali basiraamu abali ku mukutu guno tuyitirize nnyo okubeera nga tuyamba ne Katonda ajja kubeera nga atuyamba. Ate ekirala Kayira ninaawe olukuŋŋaana lw'abakyala ng'ennaku z'omwezi 9 omwezi ogw'omusanvu that is 9th of July 2023. It's gonna be at Derby kubanga twabadde tulowooza okufuna another place but if we do so nakyo tujja kiteekayo naye ssebo mbadde nsaba ntwale akakisa kano okubeera nga kuno okubeera nga tujja bangi olukuŋŋaana lw'abakyala bokka though tulinamu abagenda okusomesa nga bo baami according to
and that is the UMC UK Women's Convention taking place on the Sunday 9th July 2023 from 11:30 to 5 p.m. Address at 75 Derby Radio. Derby Road rather in East London, the home of Derby Radio. Inshallah. Please make time and go there. Barakallahu fikum radhiya. Isa Makumbi banaye mbadde nsibudde abantu naye kirabika waliwo obutalekeka. Isa, let me give you the last word and then we'll say goodbye. Banaye ab'omu technical department, my sincere apologies. Embozi whatever they are too hot. We are wrapping up the program, but we still have 30 people not moving one step. I think it speaks volumes. We will definitely.
We are happy to spend the night here. Technical department, we are happy to spend the night here.
Mr. Makumbi, go ahead.
My parting ideas. Yamba ngomuntu ali mu buzibu oba omuntu yeetaaga needs. Togeza kugamba nti oli tosobola kuyamba omuntu kuba nti oli too good okuyamba omuntu. Bweyamba omuntu next time nja kuyamba ayinza okuyamba mutaano nga gwogenzi. Kyengamba yeah.
Barakallahu fikum. Bannai mwebali nnyo mwebali ddala. Imam Kiwanuka obadde yeeyo mu Kamoli ng'osiriikiriddeeyo. I think the takeaway tonight, bw'oba olinayo akatale ke katukawulire and then we just go. But these stories have been very, very fantastic. I thank you very, very much for opening up. I think we'll definitely maybe tukiwemu weeks nga bbiri and then we'll come back with a part to get where ababadde balinamu ensonyi I'm sure you have had, but I think the takeaway from this is always be there. You never know when you need the help. Diaspora NNC, actually, the more you travel, your world view tends to improve. Those are actually ekintu kye tulinako kye tusinga abantu abasigala back home is the exposure. The amount of exposure that we have had has helped us to build a sort of understanding n'endaba y'eddunia in a very different perspective that many people would not have if, for example, we hadn't traveled. Issa Makumbi has mentioned something about, helping people because you never know when you will get, like when you will need the help or when you can ever need the help. There are times when you get help because you have helped someone totally unbeknown to you. You never know. I was in Congo, and this is my last story tonight. We were in Congo, in a very difficult situation. Fighting broke out, and we were going to become a target as journalists who were covering a story deep inside Congo in a place called Walikale, in the Kivus, in South Kivu. We ended up running to a convent, twagenda Mbasista. You can imagine Haji neka sijida kuchenyi kora baka standing out very clearly. We end up muchigo sister ne batwambaza ebitete inabagana netugenda ne batusuza mu convent ne cameraman. Rebels came, ne bajja, government forces came, and we were kept and protected by the nuns. Haji wafe, Usirahamu wafe disregarded in that particular moment of need. We were amazed, we were surprised, we were touched. Overnight, of course, given twali mu convent nga jibatutadde ate almost bajiro tusiba obutambara ku maaso ate tuleme kutunulya bakyala because both of us were men in a sort of in a barracks of women. Nuns nga bwe bali kubanga ate baba bali mu mbeera zaabwe ziri free. They are not as strictly dressed as they would be when they are coming for official duty. But we spent a night in there, protected. Later in the morning, we were carried. Priest yajja n'emmotoka ye, Land Rover enkadde, a Land Cruiser, sorry, ne batuteeka mu mmotoka. And oyo priest yatuvuga mzungu okutujja wagenda atutwale to safety. In the meantime, for about an hour and a half, journey yaffe gye twatambulamu, kubanga omusajja we yantuuza, I was sat next to a very big dog. Ate nga ntyembwa nga bw'okiwulira. Naye embwa naye ekutunuulira Mungu yagiwa okutegeera. It looks at you neetegeera nti otidde. Ate nekiginyumira nnyo. Embwa bwe nagezaako kubanga akyusa ensingo ntunuleko mu ddirisa. N'enkuba eriiso n'evuumavuma ya nenziramu n'entunula natambula essaawa emu n'ekitundu ng'ensingo ejjula okukutukako olw'obutasobola kwekyusa kubanga buli nayagalanga okwekyusa embwa n'ebaako bwebuggodde. I thank you very much for making tonight. The program has been Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, and we are celebrating the diaspora, the Nkuba Kyeyos. Thank you very much. Hope to see you next Tuesday, inshallah, same time, with more stories from your experiences in life. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have a very good night. Thank you very much for making it a beautiful and unforgettable night. Remember, if you miss any of these programs or would like to catch up, you can just go to YouTube, look or search for Ummah Connected and look for Come Let's Talk with Kassim Kayira, or just search for www.75wradio.com as one word, 75wradio, one word.com, and you'll be able to look for Come Let's Talk with Kassim Kayira. I thank you very much to all the contributors and all the Kamonists. Time, I think, has not been on our side. We should have taken it all the way to midnight. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.